little girls. You ask where I was, well, isn't that swift? I powder my nose and I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth, oh honey, but my lip, zip, zip, zip. Hey, if talk is cheap, I won't spend a cent on some nosy little government. I plead the fifth, oh baby, watch me drift, sip my gin and plead the fifth. You want the truth, how quaint, how sweet. Slide me a question, I slide my seat. Did I see him, was it a grift? I fix my glove and I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth, oh honey, but my lip, zip, zip, zip. Woo! If talk is trouble, I won't buy a bit on your high and mighty outfit. I plead the fifth, oh baby, watch me drift, blow a kiss and plead the fifth. Cross your heart, I cross my leg. You bang your gavel, I clink my egg. Sunny side up, my story's a myth. Ask me again and I'll plead the fifth. Ooh, yeah, I plead the fifth. Oh, honey, but my lip, zip, zip, zip. If secrets sparkle, I'm dressed to the nines. Guarding every guilty line, I plead the fifth. Oh, baby, that's my gift. Live and laugh and plead the fifth. Judge in a tux, jury in pearls. I bat my lashes like good little girls. You ask where I was, well, isn't that swift? I powder my nose and I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth, oh honey, but my lip, zip, zip, zip. Hey, if talk is cheap, I won't spend a cent on some nosy little government. I plead the fifth, oh baby, watch me drift, sip my gin and plead the fifth. You want the truth, how quaint, how sweet. Slide me a question, I slide my seat. Did I see him, was it a grift? I fix my glove and I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth, oh honey, but my lip, zip, zip, zip. Woo! If talk is trouble, I won't buy a bit on your high and mighty outfit. I plead the fifth, oh baby, oh baby, watch me drift, blow a kiss and plead the fifth.
So welcome to the show, everybody. I gotta simmer down, simmer down. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Mic is on, all is well. You can hear me. My voice probably sounds a little tighter than usual. I've been singing for the last like 3 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. Whew. I don't even have like rough vocals on this one song, and I just had to track them, and so I set up my whole microphone setup that's over here, just to basically right out of frame, and tracked a bunch of vocals on a new song, and I'm happy with it. It's gonna need some work. I've got to, do some of the little nitpicking around the edges, but I'm looking very toit like a tiger. Thank you very much. Happy Motang Monday to you as well. Some boogie music, yes. No, actually, that was an idea I had earlier today when, well, quite frankly, welcome to the show. When this happened, when the Republicans, interestingly enough, yeah, they seem to be confused about this whole like, well, she told Todd Blanche some stuff. You mean when they controlled the actual transcript and they didn't release the recording and you couldn't be present? Gee, I guess she must have spilled the beans then, dipshit. We've been dealing with Comer and Comer for quite some time. And I got to tell you, I almost feel, I'll show you in this, but I almost feel bad for the Republicans that have to stand behind him, like like giving ground, like this asshole is actually in charge of something. Can you know how fucking embarrassing that would be? Here you go. On his way. And here it is.
Everybody ready? Everybody ready?
Like those two dudes. Is that Andy Biggs or whoever? And then this dude. Like, I would be embarrassed to be them. Like, what he said about the dumbest motherfucker in Congress. Just embarrassing.
As expected, Elaine Maxwell took the fifth.
Uh-huh. Maybe that's what Trump meant when he wished her well. That was code for you should plead the fifth.
And refused to answer any questions. This is obviously very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators.
Really, you didn't think to call the White House and ask? I'm just saying they're in on it. Yeah.
Sincerely want to get to the truth of the American people and justice for the survivors. That's what this investigation is about.
It totally is. That's why you're bringing in Bill Clinton, who isn't president right now, and his wife, who only showed up in like news articles in the Epstein files. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was his fucking wingman.
I want to mention the next steps. We can confirm we have 5 more depositions in the book scheduled
In private.
for the Epstein investigation. On February 18th, Lex Wexner, who is a financial client of Epstein and I believe the former CEO of Victoria's Secret.
Does he have any business dealings with Donald Trump? Maybe you should look that up. Yeah.
February 26th, we have former Secretary of State Hillary.
Like, hold on. Let me see if, because I think, let's see. Let me go back, add a little thing there. CoreWeave, there we go. Yeah. Ohio's most revered interviewer, Les Wexner, stepped down as chairman of L Brands, but soon began to sell off his stake in Victoria's Secret. Convicted sex offender. Many believe that Wexner, age 82, would quietly retire. Instead, the fashion mogul has more than doubled his fortune thanks to a large part to some savvy bets on technology over the past 3 months. The mogul's net worth, which includes assets held in his children's and wife Abigail's names, has soared $10.1 billion from $7.9 billion. The biggest driver of this increase is a 4% stake in CoreWeave. Whoops, let me slow this down here. Thank you. Biggest driver of this increase, 4% stake in CoreWeave, one of the busiest artificial intelligence companies around. On Monday, CoreWeave announced that it is buying crypto miner Core Scientific in a roughly $9 billion all-stock deal. CoreWeave's market capitalization has almost tripled since its March IPO at $73 billion today, and Wexner's stake is now worth $2.8 billion. Forbes previously reported on how Wexner scored his stake in CoreWeave, which was founded in Livingston, New Jersey in 2017, thanks to a smart investment by Wexner's money manager at the time, a trust established for the benefit of his 4 children. Apparently investing $1 million in CoreWeave in 2019 put another $600,000 in the startup Series A funding. His shares are currently worth $730 million, or when they went public. 8-year-old CoreWeave helps companies build data centers and loans out cloud access to much sought-after graphics processing units or GPUs, with firms like Microsoft, IBM, and Meta pay to use to build AI models. This is the same model as Larry Ellison is using with Oracle and basically turning their cloud services into AI data processing centers. It's like turning your farmland into a parking lot. Reported net loss $350 million. Nonetheless, CoreWeave's valuation continues to shoot up. Forbes discovered Wexner's family stake in CoreWeave in a lawsuit filed by the wealth management firm Florence Capital Advisors. In the lawsuit, Florence Capital claimed they were owed nearly $7 million for advising Wexner's family trust to invest in CoreWeave in its early days. A representative for the trust responded to the counterclaim that accused the wealth manager of fraudulent conduct. It seems like such a swell fella. And he's in J.D. Vance's state. So, yeah, he's going to be coming in to talk. He's 80 some odd.
Clinton, February 27th, former President Bill Clinton. March 11th, Richard Kahn, Epstein's accountant. And March 19th, Darren Endike, Epstein's lawyer. So we will.
So nothing from Trump's circle. Maybe Allison Lutnick. Maybe fucking Nutlick himself. Maybe Trump. Maybe they all come in. What do you think?
Continue to move forward and try to get answers for the American people.
So, Britain's royal family, do you think that Britain's royal family has questions to answer to your committee?
Well, we would love.
What? We fought a war so we don't have to give a fuck about royals. Go pound sand with your magic family.
To hear, from anyone. Obviously, I can't subpoena in foreign countries, or I would have done that in the Biden investigation. But do you have anything to add, Andy?
I'll just add one thing that the attorney for Ms. Maxwell said that she has no indication and would say that neither Presidents Trump or Clinton are culpable for any wrongdoing. And that's one thing they said in his opening statement to us today.
But isn't it clear that Maxwell?
But if you ask her a follow-up, she's pleading the fifth. Fuck you.
Maxwell put under pressure to stay silent? Was Ghislaine Maxwell put under pressure to stay silent today?
Well, I have no idea.
Who would have, I don't know, winked and nodded at her, maybe moved her to a new prison where it's easier to break out of and into. Certainly not some sort of like maximum security tower in downtown New York.
How would I have no idea. I mean, she was given an opportunity. We would have brought her in months ago, but she's indicated she was going to plead the fifth. And unfortunately, she had an opportunity today to answer questions that every American has, questions that would be very important in this investigation, and she chose to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights.
Mr. Chairman, clarify what her lawyer said about President Trump and Clinton, and do you think that there's anything more to do with Ghislaine Maxwell now that she pled the fifth?
What? Correct me if I'm wrong. Just to be clear.
I'm going to guess. Andy, stand by. You're going to stand back and stand by. You're going to be needed.
What her attorney said, Maxwell didn't say. Her attorney said that she would answer questions if she were granted clemency by the
President Trump,
and that she went on to say about Clinton and
but he went on to expand that. The other thing is he pointed out a number of times that she has a habeas corpus petition pending for a new trial and release, and that's why she is not going to answer questions.
All right, why would you ask for clemency and release if you're following through with your habeas corpus petition? I mean, I guess she's just trying all angles. I mean, it's like when a bat gives in your living room, it's going to fly towards every window. Yeah. Fuck that. Hold on, let's see.
Mr. Chairman, I know that those conversations are ongoing. They would like them to be public. Is your understanding still that we're looking at those same February dates and they're going to be private?
yeah, that's what they agreed to, and they will be public, just like this will be public hopefully very full. We've released every.
No. That's not what public means. Fuckhead. Like this is, oh God. It's going to be public because we'll make public pieces of it. Get the fuck out of here. Public means public. And this is the reason, interestingly enough, that I don't think they want Bill Clinton to come and testify publicly is because it puts pressure on Trump to do so. The same thing with Hillary, by the way, that Hillary Clinton testifying in public, in front of everybody, puts pressure on Trump and basically gives Democrats the ability to just call him a coward every day between now and the midterms, which they'll be able to do because he's not going to testify.
Transcript and every video and audio of every deposition we've done since I've been chairman of the committee.
Mr. Chairman, does the committee have any plans to subpoena Commerce Secretary
Except this one, by the way, I guess.
Howard Lutnick,
well,
given the revelations
We're
about
going to
his
try to get
relationship?
these 5 nailed down. We've got a lot of very important people we're trying to bring in to answer questions. We don't want to do anything to jeopardize the 5 that we have on the.
Why? What? Why would that jeopardize? Why would bringing in other people jeopardize the people you already have? Sorry, are you worried that Les Wexner is gonna be concerned that Lutnick will spill the beans or they will have conflicting testimony? And what difference does it make when you bring him in if everybody's under oath anyways? If Lutnick lies now or in 6 fucking months, what difference does it make?
Look, so we'll see what happens here, and we'll move forward.
Do you have concerns
We're
about?
interested in talking to anyone that might have any information that would help us get justice for the survivors. Yes.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you have the number for the White House switchboard, dipshit?
Chairman, thank you. On your decision, the
Fuck.
agreement with the Clintons about closed-door videotape testimony versus public hearing, are you concerned this will be enough to restart contempt proceedings, or do you think you'll come to a resolution?
I mean, they said they agreed to a standard deposition. That's what a standard deposition is. Every time I've come out here for a press gaggle.
Chicken shit. No, nobody's buying that. All right, chat room. Is anybody buying that? Do you think maggots are buying that? Maggots. Do we have any maggots in the chat room? We should. Do you buy this? The Clintons want to testify in an open hearing, in public. And Comer's answer is, well, it'll be public because we'll release parts of it. We'll make parts of it public. Is that okay with you? That's okay with you. In the Epstein files, and in it's much better to just talk to people behind closed doors and then leak out little bits. By the way, pieces chosen to be released by Comer and Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche. Yeah.
With you all, we've had a standard deposition, so this is how depositions work, and it will be made public. So they.
Look at him fucking strangling that fucking piece of paper. Yeah. It's totally. This is how we normally do things. No, it isn't. You don't normally pull in a former president to talk about a dead guy that died during the current president's term last time and who was really close to him. When you're not bringing that motherfucker in.
Want a public deposition. This is what they're going to get.
Yeah, that's not a public deposition, dummy. They want an open hearing. They want to testify in public. There is no reason to depose them.
Chairman, can I ask you about Ilhan Omar for a moment?
Can I ask you a question
Mr. Chairman,
about
your
Ilhan
investigation of
Chad.
thank you. Your investigation about Ilhan Omar. Why are you targeting her when there is Ilhan Omar? Your committee investigation with Ilhan Omar, when there is a process in the House, if people have questions about their conduct, this would go through the ethics committee. Why is this under the jurisdiction?
And I've spoken. I'm glad you asked that question. I've spoken with the.
It's almost like I gave you a signal by throttling my piece of paper that you need to bail me the fuck out of this.
The ethics committee. The ethics committee has jurisdiction over members of Congress. The two
Sorry, the gum was for my sore throat. So
businesses in question are owned by Ms. Omar's husband. So the ethics committee does not have jurisdiction over a spouse, only a member. So that's why we just asked, we would have questions. I don't think anyone would.
But it would pertain to her overall finances, because that is listed on her financial disclosure report, even though that's her spouse.
We've read.
Oh, excuse me. You're asking him detailed questions that involve reality. He's not prepared for that. He's just jacking off the 2 notes that he took during the Ghislaine Maxwell, the fifth.
It's by the ethics committee, and we think
A fifth of Maxwell. That's probably what we should call this video, I think. A fifth.
this is the appropriate route. So, and we'll do one more question.
One
Yes.
question on
Yes,
Maxwell.
just going back to the Clinton deposition, sorry for space. I understand that you're going to release the transcripts, you'll release the video.
course.
Why is there reticence to just have it be public since the Clintons, look, they are not your typical people being deposed?
When you say public, what do you mean? I mean, it's going to be.
You know what the fuck she means, dipshit. She means testify in open session. To call the committee and call them as witnesses and ask them live in front of everybody, not in a fucking room like they're being deposed like criminals, but in person, in front of everyone, with all the here, I'll give you one. The fucking Benghazi hearing, like that. The fuck out of here.
The video, and we'll release it. The public will see every second of the deposition.
But not
I
at
think
the
they're
time
trying
that
to
it
muddy
happens.
And not the questioners, and who's with them, and who's supplying the questions, and controlling the questions. And it won't be equal time.
But not at the time that it happened. So what's the reticence?
But a few seconds later, I mean, I think the Clintons are trying to muddy the waters and create a false narrative, like depositions behind closed doors. That deposition was behind closed doors, but you had at least 10 members of Congress in there, and you'll have the video, I hope, very soon.
What do you mean you hope, motherfucker? You run the committee. Can we just like grab a still of this dickhead and like, here, wait, hold on. I'll do this one and bring this out. Here you go. There you go. There's a hope poster for you. How about that? Although dope is probably better. What a dipshit. Okay, sorry, I'm going to move this over here so I can actually use it sometime. It might actually have some function. I will say, though, this whole, like... Where's the ink? Here we go. This whole, like, throttling his piece of paper right here, this thing, is a little telling.
Question on Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yes. Go ahead. All right.
Ghislaine Maxwell, we know from the Epstein files, didn't tell the truth. She got moved to an open prison. Now she's asking for clemency to speak at all. Was it a mistake to move her to that prison? Should she be moved back?
I don't know the rationale for moving her from one prison to the other.
The rationale was her life was in danger. Also favors. Also, I don't. Hold on. What? Let's see. Yeah. Let's see what the storyline is. According to Todd Blanche, if I may, let's do this a little bit. According to Todd Blanche here, he says, let's see. Whoops, let me move her over here. Is anyone meet the press? He said, at the time I met Miss Maxwell, there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny and publicity toward her and the institution she was in. She was suffering numerous threats against her life. Ooh, numerous and numerous. Right up there with Dumb and Dumber, there's numerous and numerous. He did not elaborate on the threats because they would be in the record of the prison and it would be easy to check because he's a fucking moron. She might be moved to another institution tomorrow if security requires it, and that's true of any federal inmate across the country. Yeah, no it isn't, asshole. No it isn't. And that's, by the way, that's what we heard, that it was threats against her life. And they were non-specific threats because specific threats would be logged with the warden and with the whoever was running her particular cell or the communication between her and wherever these fucking threats came from. People were yelling them through the fucking doors. Oh, by the way, Kohlberg, the fucking Idaho murderer, gets threats through the air vents all the fucking time. And there are a bunch of people that want to carry it out because they got daughters about the age of the girls he killed and the boy that he killed. So that's a serious threat. They're not moving his dumb ass. As a matter of fact, they put him in solitary to keep him away from these assholes. Instead, they put her in a fucking, like, basically in an area, again, a minimum security prison is easier to get out of than a maximum security prison, obviously. It's also easier to get into and then out of if you needed to, I don't know.
Look, initially she had asked that the oversight committee grant immunity, and when we met with the survivors of Epstein, it was pretty clear, according
we wouldn't be able to get away with that.
To the survivors, and you know, we had 20-some members in that meeting, that Maxwell was a very bad person. And
well said. But easy there.
She committed a lot of crimes. And
just, it's the volume that's bad, not the depth of it, what she did, and who was around a lot when she did it, like your buddy Donald.
And it was the intent, in my opinion, when we left that meeting in a bipartisan manner, that we...
This is, yes, in a bipartisan manner. This is like when Lutnick said his wife and he decided he would never hang out with Epstein again, when it was really his wife going, "You're not going back there without me."
Would not grant immunity. Now, what she said today, she's asked for clemency from the president. So, I personally,
I have the right to do it. I can do it if I want to. And if we want to get this information, probably be the best thing I could do. And she's got a promise. Now, after I've signed the clemency form, if she goes back on it, we can't actually put her back in jail. So, oops.
The reasons you just stated, don't think she should be granted any type of immunity or clemency. But we'll obviously, you know...
Also, who the living shit thinks that she's going to get clemency from somebody she would have to name to achieve said clemency?
As more documents are read and understood, then we'll go from there. But I'll close with this. I think it's great that the Department of Justice was letting members of Congress come in and look at all the unredacted versions of the documents.
Yeah, he and Lindsey Graham are headed over there with some lube in a little while.
Attorney General Bondi is doing what she was supposed to do.
What she's been forced to do.
Via our subpoena first.
Right, because she volunteered. Get the fuck out of here.
On the House Oversight Committee, as well as the Epstein Transparency Act. So I think we're...
You mean she's, as the AG, she's following the law that she's been forced to follow, even though she pretended that she was going to do what the content of the law asks for fucking years?
We're finally going to get some answers and hopefully...
Here's a good idea. Maybe don't put anybody that either knows Epstein or is from fucking Florida in charge of the Department of Justice and for the next decade.
At the end of the day, we can do what our objective is in this hearing, provide justice for the survivors. So thank...
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll believe that when you subpoena Donald John Trump Sr. They're gonna be like, we're subpoenaing Donald Trump. Who? Oh, Junior. He's gonna come in and kind of, talk about his hunting trips. Fuck you. What a bunch of garbage. Oh my God. And by the way, I want you to know that that's not lost on any of the magotry. There's so much here. Oh, let's see, which do we jump to first? Well, I've got Jamie Raskin talking about after he viewed the unredacted Epstein files. Let's go to that first, so we have context in on Earth One. This one right here.
Hello, everybody. I've just gotten back from this Department of Justice satellite office. A seemingly otherwise desolate facility where they've set up some offices and some computers for us to go and review the Epstein files. I think there were 4 computers in the room that I was in. I was at one of the computers. Now, we're there because the members of the Judiciary Committee are very concerned because
there are people coming into the Capitol right now that are carrying guns, apparently, and setting off the hand wands.
The most emphatic provision in the Epstein Files Transparency Act was that none of the survivors' privacy be compromised in any way. And we wanted to make sure that their name.
Also, I think a bigger one, because I think that should be obvious that you shouldn't release the victims' names. It's that you have to explain why you're redacting anybody who isn't a victim. You see, with the
would be redacted, and all personal identifying information would be redacted. But there are hundreds and hundreds of pages in the Epstein files that were recently released where identifying information about victims is right there, including people's names. So that was a dramatic departure from the demands of the statute. But then conversely, we didn't want to see any redactions of the names of co-conspirators, accomplices, enablers, abusers, rapists, simply to spare them potential embarrassment, political sensitivity, or disgrace of some kind. And yet, nonetheless, the Epstein file documents that were released are filled with redactions of names and information about people who clearly are not victims and may fall into that other category. So I went over there and I was able to determine, at least I believe, that there were tons of completely unnecessary redactions in addition to the failure to redact the names of victims, and so that's troubling to us.
Did you see the names of any potential co-conspirators that were redacted?
Well, I saw the names of lots of people who were redacted for mysterious or baffling or inscrutable reasons.
Are any of them well-known individuals?
Yes.
For example, Mr. Wexner, his name was redacted from a government document, and I couldn't understand the logic of that. He was not a victim, and his name has appeared
quite the opposite, actually.
Other places. Now, the Department of Justice has not sent forth its so-called privilege log, so it's not explained yet why there might be certain redactions that have been made.
Yeah, so they're using, the DOJ is using the ongoing investigation thing to keep these off, and he is living up to that nature of the law, so he can't violate it either, that if there's an ongoing investigation or any of that kind of stuff. So the DOJ has to give a reason why these things are redacted. So until they do, his hands are kind of tied by the law as to what he can say. Now, because Wexner was, obviously in other documents and wasn't redacted, he can draw attention to that. I'm sure there are a couple more of those people. The big ones are going to be when they get when they get the DOJ documents that say this is why we redacted this, because it's an ongoing investigation or this. They did not include that with this disclosure today. That is an intentional move by the DOJ to make it so members of Congress can see stuff but not say stuff. Just to clarify.
I saw one document which was an email that was sent by Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, which was the forward of an email that he had received from some of his lawyers, giving an account of a conversation between Epstein lawyers and Trump lawyers and others about what had taken place during that 2009 period. It was during the period of the 2009 investigation. And
So Todd Blanche, when he was working for Trump, or any number of like the fucking legal Barbies that he has running around back then, from Christina Bobb to whomever.
Epstein's lawyers synopsized and quoted Trump as saying that that Jeffrey Epstein was not a member of his club at Mar-a-Lago, but he was a guest at Mar-a-Lago, and he had never been asked to leave. And that was redacted for...
Gee, I wonder why. It could be that plausible deniability, and yet he doesn't want to piss off his buddy because he might lose out on a piece of ass. The next Melania, whoever's in the Pez dispenser of trafficked and broken women that they send his way, or / Russian handlers.
Indeterminate, inscrutable reason. I know it seems to be at odds with some things that President Trump has been saying recently about how he had kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club or asked him to leave, and this was at least one report that appears to contradict it.
What did you see specific to President Trump or President Clinton, and were there specific redactions to them?
Well, I just gave an example of one redaction related to President Trump. I did not see any redactions related to President Clinton.
What was
I mean, remember,
done?
well, I don't, you know, here's the thing. The Department of Justice is under orders from Congress to release the entire Epstein file. They released 3.5 million documents, and they've withheld 3 million documents.
No, they've released 3.5 million pages and images as singular pages against 6 million documents. It's an easy mistake to make, and everyone keeps making it.
So about half of all the documents have not been released yet. Of the 3.5 million documents that have been released, I probably had the opportunity to review maybe 30 or 40 of them. Okay, so this is going to be an extremely time-consuming and painstaking process. Do
you want me to supply you with a list of shit to look at? Hey, everybody, we've got a new job. And this is to help. I'm not faulting him for this. People need to, whoever's combing through the Epstein files, or you see stuff that's hinky or whatever, log the number and tweet it or blue sky it to Jamie Raskin or any of the Democrats that are going to go look at the stuff. Because this isn't the only day he's going looking. They don't get one day to peek at 3 million documents and then fuck off. It's an ongoing thing. They can go there regularly. I would argue that they should stay camped out there, or members of their staff that have the same clearance that they have should go over there with a list of stuff to look at. That would be a good idea. Because otherwise they're just looking for a needle in a needle stack.
The Attorney General and the Department of Justice have said that this process was something that was completed by them back in July. These materials could have been released long ago, but they're just being released now. And if every member of Congress who voted for the discharge petition, if all 217 of us spent every waking hour over at the Department of Justice, it would still take us months to get through all of those documents. And there are only 4 computers now, so they would certainly need to get a couple hundred more computers for all of the members. But the point is that there is no way before Attorney General Bondi arrives on Wednesday that we're going to have the opportunity to go through every redaction in order to ask.
Agreed. So they should go for the big flagged obvious ones. Just the bulls in the china shop. And I think their staff can't go in, just Congress. Thank you, Marianne. I think they should. I think you should be able to bring staffers in there because they have the same clearance. There's no reason why not. I mean, if you're discussing everything in your office with your staff and they have that clearance, I mean, it might just be your chief of staff, for example, or somebody like that. Pull and assign somebody like that, or move in shifts. But either way, members of Congress, if it's just them and there's just 4 computers, they should come in with a specific list. Well, I'll play Massie as well.
Thorough question.
I think that's the connection that they held up releasing this so that everybody wouldn't be as thoroughly prepared for her testimony.
CSL, I don't know if you found that Massie speaking. I think I saw it, but I'm sorry if I blitzed past it. Of Massie speaking. About after coming out, or anybody else that came out after seeing the stuff?
No, I think that the Department of Justice has been in a cover-up mode for many months. And
years, sorry. I mean, we get to include the time of Bill Barr, right?
Has been trying to sweep the entire thing under the rug. And the more deeply that I get into it, because obviously our colleagues on the Oversight Committee have taken the lead, but judiciary plays a very important role because we oversee the Department of Justice. But the more that I've gotten into it, the more I believe that the survivors here, the victims who are now active citizens for justice, really are leading the way. And we need to be having hearings with the survivors, to hear from them about their experiences so they can explain what happened and so they can begin to set forth a theory of what took place. We need to be investigating the money. We need to be investigating the organizational hierarchy. There's no way you run a $1 billion international child sex trafficking ring with just 2 people committing crimes, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. No way. It doesn't work like that. So we need to figure.
By the way, I can tell from his demeanor, and this is just my personal opinion. I'm not a body language expert, but I pay attention. That I can tell he is. They caught him as he's on his way back into, I guess, the congressional area or back to his offices. That he's in. He knows he's going to have to talk to the press, but he's on his way back there to discuss exactly what next steps are with his staff so they can push ahead with this shit. You can tell he's like, okay, I can't tell everything I want to tell, but we got to work this shit out. We're going to go do basically what I said, which is get me a fucking hit list, and I'm going to go back tomorrow morning and spend 3 hours there and bring back the stuff with me. Or send another member of Congress in his place.
What other conspiracies were involved? What other co-conspirators were involved? And I really do believe that listening to the survivors is going to be our pathway through this nightmare.
To drill down on the next step for Democrats to take? You say there are obviously millions of documents, 4 computers. What is the next step?
And they cut off of that part of it. Okay, hold on. This is it. Here's Khanna and... Yeah, this is Khanna and Massie. Hold on, wait, I'll spade ahead.
I ordered a jacket from Columbia last time. That's the one. Wearing cardigan.
That long. Well, that was an interesting experience.
It was.
The user interface is a little clunky at first.
You think?
But what I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files. So that's the first thing that I saw. It took some digging to find them. Then I'll let you talk about what you saw.
Well, and we discussed that. I mean, there are 6 men, some of them with their photographs that have been redacted, and there's no explanation why those people were redacted. And Thomas discovered it through his MIT logic with some of the searches. But, you know, that's really concerning. I think there are 2 other points. One is some of the internet concern about some of the more sensational emails. I mean, I do think it's important to recognize that some of the senders on that are women, and so some of the redactions may be appropriate, some may not be appropriate. We need to look at that. But just because there's an email out there, it doesn't mean that there's necessarily an improper redaction. The bigger concern is these 6 individuals. I will say that the staff was very professional in allowing us to do the searches. Our bigger concern is that there's still a lot that's redacted, even in what we're seeing.
Wait. They're supposed to see the completely unredacted stuff. That was the whole point of this. They're still looking through redacted documents?
We're seeing...
By the way, this is Thomas Massie, Republican from Kentucky, and this is Khanna, Democrat, and both of these guys are the main authors of the Epstein Transparency Act and are behind all of this stuff.
Redacted versions. I thought we were supposed to see the unredacted versions.
Yeah, so did we.
And that's because the documents produced to justice from the FBI, from the grand jury, was redacted when they got it. So we kept doing the searches for the unredacted information. It's the identical redactions that they have. Now, I don't think that's nefarious on the career attorneys that were reviewing it, but they obviously haven't gotten the production because our law says that the FBI and the original grand jury needs to be unredacted.
Right. The U.S. attorneys and the FBI are compelled, as well as the DOJ, and the DOJ was responsible for this document production, and they
are breaking the law.
Just produced documents that have been given to them from the FBI, the 302 forms, for instance, which need to be unredacted. There was one other thing that definitely needs to be addressed. Some of these files have been taken down Like the DOJ produced them, and for some reason they took them down. Maybe.
What reason could that be? Could it have something to do with a line of stakes, airplanes, a possible purchase of a football team, and a failed casino? Back in the, some dude related to those?
They decided that victims' names were in there and that they needed further redactions. But those documents not only haven't been put back up on the site with the appropriate redactions, they were not available to us to search.
Oh, so they've been removed entirely. So we'll just assume that they are direct descriptions of criminal acts by Donald Trump against underage girls until we are proven wrong. How about that? I'm assuming every redaction is either Trump or one of Trump's best friends. There is no reason for him to protect anybody else unless they have dirt on him. I would say the only reason there would be somebody that isn't on Trump's good side in the files that is also redacted is because they have dirt or they were a witness. And if they start squealing, so will everybody else.
As far as I could tell, we couldn't search the documents that had been taken off the internet.
Can you share with us the name of the 6 men that you identified?
I probably should do that from the floor or in a committee hearing.
And look, they should be releasing these documents. We have many avenues where we can compel that legally. Maybe they've done it out of oversight. I don't know. I don't believe that. But, you know, they should be releasing those documents, and our hope is to get them to do that. And then in some of the redactions, they need to be very careful on whether that was a survivor or not. Just because, for example, someone is female doesn't necessarily mean they're survivors. And it seemed like they blanked.
Yeah, like Leslie Groff and Kellen, I think is her name. And yeah, like the 4 or 5 women that helped his pilot.
Get redacted anyone who was a female from my review.
Yeah, I would like to give the DOJ a chance to say they made a mistake and over-redacted and let them unredact those men's names. That would probably be the
be a great news cycle. He's right.
Best way to do it.
So how much of the redactions, you said that there are a lot of, the documents, some of what you saw in there had redactions. How much new information then did you see that was unredacted, or did it look pretty similar to what we've seen publicly?
I mean, what we're after is the men who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked women to. We want those names published. We're not out to embarrass people, and the problem is we went in there hoping to see that in 302 forms. What we found out is those 302 forms were redacted.
Right, so the men's names they saw were probably in emails or in other forms, but not in the actual 302s. They had redacted them in the 302s. And so they want to unredact them in the 302 so they can check and make sure that they're not talking out of their ass, because these guys are rich and litigious and in some cases dangerous, I suppose.
Before they got to the DOJ. So
that's me being charitable, did this.
But our legislation directs the FBI, which is the agency that produced those 302 forms, to also produce these documents. The Attorney General is ultimately responsible for that production, so that's why we're here at the DOJ to view these files. But there needs to be more information given in those 302s. So I was disappointed we didn't find that. But it's also clear, just sort of as a checking their homework, that they need to do a little more homework. There are 6 men. We went in there for 2 hours. There's millions of files, right? And in a couple of hours, we found 6 men whose names have been redacted who are implicated in the way that the files are presented.
Activism, my question is, what's your message to Pam Bondi after what you saw today?
Need to do a little more work. And I would like, I mean, we'll see her at the Judiciary Committee here in a couple days.
At the very least, these 6 men, maybe she can make public. I mean, we're happy to provide the information to them, and they should do that. Look, there's some of the effort.
They're going to drop these 6 names Thursday on Pam Bondi. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll see.
Because there were a lot of career attorneys on there. There's some redactions that were appropriate, some, for protect the survivors. And some of the most sensational things out on the internet, there may have been appropriate redaction. So, you know, for Thomas and me, it's always been about the facts. And our biggest concern is what was redacted before it even came to the Justice Department. I mean, the reality is that the most important things, the 302 files and some of the information on the prosecution memos, it's unclear that those redactions happened here. We saw a lot of files that already were redacted.
Right. So okay, this is also an issue. This is where Pam Bondi is getting away with a lot of her plausible deniability and bullshitting, is she's showing, I haven't seen anything. Well, okay, the reason she hasn't seen anything is because she has not requested officially the unredacted documents she's supposed to have. She was lying this whole time, and she's continuing to lie. But she's got a plausible lie in that she could say, I haven't seen any of these men's names. That's because they were redacted early in the files before they got to her, and they just left them that way. And then anything that was redacted in those documents, they used as a template. Anytime those names showed up someplace else, then you could redact those as well. How they know that those are the names is anybody's guess. My guess is they fucking just know. But if that makes sense to anybody, that they can take the redactions that were in there, the assumptions that they know, and go, okay, Les Wexner's name was taken out of this one document, so we should take him out of everything else. So they redacted these names because somebody else redacted them in the early process.
And then, of course, they have been protecting some of these men. Maybe it was not intentionally, but the law is
it was intentional.
Very clear. They need to comply with the law.
And finally, the documents that they put up and decided for one reason or another they had to take back down, I was hoping to see those here. They didn't appear to be in the database that we were able to search. Those ostensibly are wholly redacted files now. We know they exist. They published them for a brief period of time and pulled them back. They need to answer to us as to, do they intend to redact those files and put them back up and put them in the database so that we can search them and see if it was appropriate to take them back down from the website.
Are these men U.S. citizens? What fields do they work in? Is it finance? Is it political?
At least one is a U.S. citizen, at least one is a foreigner, and the other 3 or 4 have names. I'm not sure if they're foreign or U.S.
In which field do they work in? Is it finance, banking, political?
One is pretty high up in the foreign government.
And some.
Andrew? I mean, he's not anymore.
One of the others is a pretty prominent individual. But I think that the point is that these 6 are just what we found in 2 hours of a review of the files that aren't redacted. The broader issue is why so many of the files they're getting are redacted in the first place. And until that becomes...
Gia, could that possibly... I'm just spitballing here. Rokana, both these guys, bright guys. But I'm going to go with, because when this process happened last time, when the redactions occurred initially on these documents, Donald Trump was fucking president and Bill Barr was in charge of the DOJ. That's why. Obviously. This is who was there during the initial redaction. Then you've also got, on top of that, that those redacted files, when that happened, were being used in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial and some other things, and the Biden administration stiff-armed themselves from it because it was in process. And so once those files got opened up, I guess last January, or January last, like 2 years ago, that she could file her appeals and that kind of stuff, so they had to hold them for a period of time longer. But in that process, the Biden DOJ would only be seeing the redacted stuff if they bothered to look at all, because again, if Ghislaine Maxwell was able to claim, selective prosecution, which is what she's going for with her habeas petition, she might have gotten out of jail because there wasn't a law like the Epstein Transparency Act.
Unredacted, the main things that they're sending to the career attorneys to review. I don't think we're going to have full compliance with the law or get to the question that most Americans want to know. Who were the rich and powerful people who went to this island? Did they rape underage girls? Did they know that underage girls were being paraded around? And after seeing this, I don't blame the U.S. attorneys, the assistant U.S. attorneys reviewing it. If they're reviewing redacted material, what are they supposed to do? But they're getting, it seems like, material that's already been redacted.
Right, and Pam Bondi is counting on that.
Congressman Raskin also viewed these materials earlier, and he said that he saw President Trump's name redacted, he saw Lee Wexner's name redacted. Did you see President Trump's name redacted, Lee Wexner's name redacted? Can you share anything about that?
I didn't put Donald Trump in the search engine, so I couldn't tell you.
What a shock.
Why not?
Why not's a good question, and they're not answering it. I think basically they're smoking Trump out.
I did, and that was a woman that wrote that. And so it may be proper to redact it, and it may not be. I don't know. It seems like part of their algorithm for redaction was just to redact every woman in there, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we can't parse if the person who sent that was a victim or not.
Look, none of this is designed to be a witch hunt. Just because someone may be in the files doesn't mean that they're guilty. But there are very powerful people who raped these underage girls. It wasn't just Epstein and Maxwell, or showed up to the island, or showed up to the ranch, or showed up to the home knowing underage girls were being paraded around, and some of the sickening stuff in there about the violence. And what we want to do is have the investigation to get to those people, to answer those questions. Not to say that every internet rumor about some email is going to be true. And like I said, in some of the cases, the redactions may have been appropriate. But for Thomas and me, it's never been about getting Donald Trump or getting Bill Clinton or scoring political points or trying to destroy people's reputations. It's about actually getting justice for these survivors.
Do either of you plan to read the 6 names on the House floor?
I think we need to give the DOJ a chance to go back through and correct their mistakes.
How long do they have to do that? How long do they have to
We're not. They're already breaking the law. Look, they're way past the deadline. And the reason they gave for taking so much time is so they wouldn't release victims' information. But in fact, they've released all kinds of victims' information.
Yeah, because it would really be beneficial to Donald Trump if a bunch of those girls went missing.
So the problem here is not the deadline. The problem is...
It's witness intimidation. That's what that is. Accidentally on purpose releasing these, but managing to redact the criminal names involved is not an accident, in my estimation. My belief here is that the reason why the DOJ released some victims' information is to scare the fuck out of them. It's not going to work. I think, sadly, Virginia Giuffre is the last of the victims that is going to take their own life or hopefully be physically harmed in any way in this process, as long as they stay safe. But the goal is very clear. We're going to hide the men, and we're going to release your information. So if they or some maggot with a fucking torch decides to find you and get rid of you so that you don't wreck Trump's legacy or whatever the fuck, that's what they're supposed to be scared of. This is supposed to terrify the victims. I don't believe it was an accident, not redacting their names and their information.
They need to go back. They need to themselves check their own homework or have somebody else check it. And as Rose said, they need to go to the U.S. attorneys and the FBI, who are compelled by the legislation directly to produce that material to them unredacted.
And I think, look, we could have brought contempt or impeachment weeks ago, but our interest is in actually getting the information out. And as a result of the strategy we've been pursuing, this is the largest release of the Epstein files in history. Now, it's not enough, but it has exposed people in the highest levels in technology, in finance, in real estate. It has exposed the establishment and monarchies in other countries. So our push is, how do we expose this and have accountability, not how do we score political points or have retribution.
Pam Bondi, what questions are you going to ask Pam Bondi?
Well, he's on the committee.
We'll see Wednesday.
You said a lot of the redactions were already made before the files were in the hands of career attorneys. Who do you suspect would make those redactions?
It seems that they were made by the FBI or they were made by attorneys in the grand jury, but they
or by Bill Barr.
The Justice Department, it seems, got some of these documents already redacted. Our law was very clear. Unless something was classified, it required it to be unredacted. and they have not complied with that law. And that law needs to be complied with, because that's where a lot of the information is, especially about the powerful people in this country and what their involvement was. And, you know, their involvement could have been that they were showing up at this island knowing that there was pedophilia taking place. Their involvement could have been that they were actually engaged in raping underage girls, or knowing that underage girls were being raped. We won't know until we see those files.
What information did you see that led you to believe that those 6 men were implicated in Epstein's crimes?
It's a list of 20. You can actually, I'll direct you to the unredacted, or the redacted file. It's a list of 20 individuals. 3 or 4, Maxwell and Epstein are on the list, and maybe 1 or 2 other people. And everybody else is redacted. And their names are redacted, but it also includes 20 pictures, 20 photographs. And they're sort of mugshots. They're not the best pictures. I'm not sure if they were mugshots or not. But there are at least 3 or 4 males in the photographs. I couldn't verify by looking at their names because they have foreign names. I couldn't verify by looking at their names that they were male until I went and looked at the photographs. By the way, in the document I'm directing you to, the photographs are redacted, and their
By the way, Ehud Barak is male. Just saying.
names are redacted. There is no reason in our legislation that allows them to redact the names of those men, as far as I can tell.
Unless there are any male survivors, which seems, you know, hard to believe given this issue. But and all the women that are redacted, it's unclear if they were just actual survivors, in which case they did the appropriate thing, or whether they just, as Thomas said, had an algorithm to take out any woman's name.
Can you
There's
confirm
also
that
there.
Donald Trump is not
Hold on
on
a
that
second.
list?
There's also an FBI form that lists people who are conspirators, and one of those is a male. It's like on an FBI form, they've redacted his picture and his name on that form, where they were, I guess, considering an indictment or indicting or something. I could also, I don't have the number in front of me, but I could direct you. It's a 3-page EFTA file.
The Justice Department has said it's letting you go.
I'm not sure if they're mugshots.
Were authorities investigating these individuals, or
In one instance, it was, and in the other instance, it seemed to be.
Congressman,
I've got to go. I'll let Thomas.
No, I got to go too.
All right.
One question, one last question for you, Congressman Khanna. Congressman Massie has called for Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to face potentially some accountability for the connection that he has in these files. Do you support that call?
Absolutely. Look at what's happening in Britain. You have a left government. Actually, I knew no Keir Starmer. I was excited when he won, and yet I believe he needs to be held accountable with what's happened with Mendelssohn. You have the British monarchy having to answer questions. I mean, the King of England is putting out statements. And yet, in our country, we have not had that reckoning. People in power, whether they're in government, whether they're in finance, whether they're in technology, if they have been implicated in the files in morally embarrassing ways and in ways that shock the conscience, should be held accountable. And it should be regardless of party.
So you're calling for Howard Lutnick to resign?
I believe that Lutnick, at the very least, needs to be brought before Congress. I think, based on the evidence, he should be out of the cabinet. But, you know, I mean, people say, oh, you're just a Democrat saying that. No, I mean, look at what he is, how much influence he had with Epstein, and he wasn't transparent about it. But again, it's not about Lutnick, and it's not
about lack of transparency, I would say. I appreciate his. These guys are both, I think, lawyers. Ro Khanna is, I'm pretty sure. They're talking like lawyers. Lutnick lied. Blatantly lied. He lied about his relationship. He went on the attack and specifically lied. So fuck that dude.
About any particular person. In this country, we have to make a decision. Are we going to allow rich and powerful people who were friends and had no problem doing business and showing up with a pedophile who was raping underage girls, are we just going to allow them to skate? Or like other countries, are we going to have elite accountability and have accountability for the people who did that? Most Americans believe we need accountability.
Can you confirm that President Trump wasn't on this list?
No, I didn't see him on that list.
Okay, so that I would say a little bit of a dud. I do understand that they're probably stacking some shit. I mean, it's not surprising that they would put out like Wexner. Oops, hold on. Details about him. Let's see. Let's see. Who else was there today besides those three? Let's see. Is this the same one? Yeah, okay, it's the same one of him. Yep, Khanna and them. So it seems like those were the three that made statements, anyways, afterwards. Also, I think part of this is the story too, if I may. Everywhere you're, yeah. Like, let me show you this. This is, you'll see like logo, like you'll see thumbnails all over the place like this. Unredacted Epstein files. First day lawmakers allowed to view unredacted documents. Well, we now know that that is not true. That the DOJ is still having and using redacted documents that they are piggybacking on from other stuff, which they should have released the full version. And they're using that as a way to gum up the works. Specifically, I think to slow shit down before Pam Bondi has to testify on Wednesday, where she can plead dipshit, which is, by the way, completely believable. Let me jump to, where's this one? I want to show you something about Ian Carroll was on Tucker Carlson because Tucker Carlson is just in the business of deflecting Trump's guilt in this circumstance onto Israel. And let me be abundantly clear. I don't doubt that intelligence services all over the place who might have known what Epstein was up to would want him on a leash, would want to reach out to him or try to, use the information he had or get hold of it, see if it was real, that kind of stuff, and use it to benefit them. But we'll see this because they say Tucker names two key individuals in the Epstein cover-up, and apparently it's Pompeo and Bill Barr. This is Ian Carroll, who's one of the big kind of like right-wing conspiracy vultures that's around this stuff. That where all arrows point to Israel. The reality is that again, but for the fact that Epstein's last name is Jewish, a big portion of his money went through Russia, which is a big and Tucker's a big fan of Russia. He likes how they run things. He likes how their government operates. He likes how their intelligence officers operate. He loves Vladimir Putin and everything he's been up to. So they demand answers. Let's see if they really do.
I'm really almost
stupid, dweeby,
overwhelmed by the cover-up of it and by the people I know who participated in that. And I'll just name two of them. One is Bill Barr, who's the two-time Republican Attorney General, whose father, by the way, started Jeffrey Epstein's career. His father, Donald Barr, was a former OSS CIA officer. In the files, I should also say that Jeffrey Epstein describes Bill Barr, the former AG, as, quote, CIA. Jeffrey Epstein privately says this guy's CIA. Bill Barr covered up Epstein's murder. He was clearly murdered in federal detention.
Well, if he's dead, he was murdered. Let's just leave it there.
Barr said out loud, we got to make sure everyone thinks this is a suicide. So why isn't he being asked about this? And the second...
because Donald Trump appointed him for this specific task.
Is Mike Pompeo. And Mike Pompeo was caught plotting to murder Julian Assange, the head of WikiLeaks. Why is this significant? Well, because...
What? Well, then how did he fail? If he was the head of the CIA and he was plotting to kill Julian Assange, you mean he missed? I don't buy it. Again, we're often told about how these people are just so super powerful, the elites that run everything, and yet they can't hit shit. It's like the same shit they say about Democrats and Thomas Crooks. They, the Democrats, the liberals, the progressives, tried to kill Donald Trump in Butler. Like, really? You think we'd miss? We didn't. We're not going to. It's not our style. But in the case of Donald Trump, if he wanted to fake an attempt on his life, killing a couple of maggots and getting a piece of glass to graze his ear would be, and then planning this like, okay, wait, now I'll do the thing. Is the photographer in position? Reeks. It reeks.
Because it was WikiLeaks that made that first tranche of emails available to the public. And it was Julian Assange who said on camera, basically said, my source, he didn't say this, he didn't say my source, but he heavily suggested in an interview with Dutch television, my source was Seth Rich, the DNC staffer who was found murdered on the street in Washington.
Because he thought he was giving, this is the theory that actually floats, that he thought he was giving stuff to sympathetic people, and it turned out it was the Russians, and he was like, oh shit, I'm doing this as an internal whistleblower thing, not to, set up a situation where I'm helping the Russians. And then they killed him because he didn't want to hand over the shit.
So-called robbery where nothing was taken from him. That investigation was taken over by the FBI. What? Why?
Because it's in D.C. and because he was a congressional staffer and because he had clearances and duh.
And Assange goes on Dutch television.
By the way, these are the same people who are complaining about the fact that Tyler Robinson's trial is in Utah and not a federal trial.
And says, I can't see who my sources are, but they face great risks. You can pull up the interview right now and look at it. Mm-hmm. And then he points to Seth Rich. And the
because he's already dead.
Interviewer's like, wait, are you saying Seth Rich was murdered for this? And Assange is like, look, I can't tell you who my sources are, but my sources take great risks. Seth Rich just got murdered.
Right, he was hinting at it, when in reality he just got it from the same Russians that basically killed Seth Rich. Is the argument is that his sources take great risks. Working with Assange is also another way to read
that couldn't be clearer, right?
Yes, it could. It could be a lot clearer. My source was Seth Rich, and he was killed. That would have been clear. And as a matter of fact, I don't know why the fuck you wouldn't just say it, since he's already dead. It wasn't like his parents or anybody else were in on it. Right? If he was your source and he's dead, nobody's worried about it being like, he's not going to protect me after I'm dead. What the fuck?
It was right after that Julian Assange was incarcerated, first in an embassy in London, and then...
He wasn't incarcerated. He hid from the law there. If he'd have gone to trial, he'd have been out like Chelsea Manning, like Reality Winner.
In Belmarsh prison, never charged with a crime.
Yeah, because nobody is sentenced to hang out in a fucking embassy.
And that was pushed by...
Because he was avoiding trial. This is so fucking dumb. Think what you will about whether he was good or bad, but Jesus Christ. Like, he wasn't found guilty of a crime because he avoided prosecution on international territory inside London. Because the Ecuadorian embassy is Ecuador's fucking territory, technically. That's how embassies work. And they had no extradition with Ecuador, and that counts for the fucking property.
CIA and Mike Pompeo. And it's like...
The other thing is, and it's like, gee, do you think the CIA could kill somebody inside the Ecuadorian fucking embassy if they wanted to? Of course they could.
Wait a second. Shouldn't someone ask Mike Pompeo? Like, what is this?
He never got killed. There was never nobody took a shot. How about you ask Donald Trump about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? The fuck are you talking about?
What is this?
I'll tell you what it is. It's obfuscation. It's flooding the zone with bullshit. It is like throwing conspiracy chum into the waters to protect the obviously guilty.
Real allegations are credible allegations, and rather than follow up, you're punishing the guy who brought them to light?
They didn't punish him. They didn't get a chance to punish him. He hid in the Ecuadorian embassy.
That's how that works, Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo's like wandering free.
Mike Pompeo is not a law enforcement official. I got news for you. Check with Interpol. Check with the FBI. The CIA doesn't do law enforcement for the United States in or outside the country. It is the Central Intelligence Agency. They can have black sites and shit, but it's outside the law when they do that shit. He's not a cop. The Brits wanted to try him, and he could have had his fucking day in court. He wasn't going to be put in a fucking jail like Alexei Navalny, or another person that Tucker doesn't give a rat fuck about, who was obviously incarcerated for politics, who was obviously killed, starved to death, beaten in prison.
And no one asked him about this. Like, what is going on?
Here's what's going on. Donald Trump is the president of the United States, and he's all over the Epstein files because he was friends with this motherfucker for 25 goddamn years. And Mike Pompeo was picked by Trump to be in that position. And so everything stinks from the head. And it's just like, basically they're just throwing anybody they don't like to the sharks of the internet just to buy them time so that nobody barks up Trump and Putin's tree.
Ian Carroll.
Every time I talk about this story, every aspect of the story from Pizzagate to Epstein, everything in between.
No. You don't talk about everything in between. Nope. You do not. He doesn't talk about everything in between. As a matter of fact, both of these assholes do everything they can not to mention Donald Trump. Anybody who does that, anybody who's like, I don't see it, Trump. Anyways, I barely say his fucking name, except as when Trump was in charge of the fucking country, when Epstein died in jail or was escaped or whatever, and hired Pompeo, hired Barr, hired Bondi, hired Kash Patel, hired Nutlick, for fuck's sake. No, you have not been all over this. If anything, both of these assholes qualify as disinfo artists on behalf of Donald Trump.
Always have to try not to get angry because when you think about, especially for me, the cover up, it makes me so.
Gee, who was in charge of everything in this quote unquote cover up?
Furious how.
Not furious enough to go after the guy who was best friends with him for a quarter century.
Regular Americans are going to jail over like smoking a joint or going to jail.
No, they are not.
Over like paying taxes that are getting sent overseas anyways, or going to.
They're not going to jail for paying taxes. They're going to jail for not paying taxes. If you want to bitch about that, then you should point to the fact that Donald Trump never pays taxes.
Jail over a parking ticket they can't afford. Whatever it is, this madness in this country where we are lawfared to death, but these obvious criminals and these people that we at least have obvious questions for are just walking free. And you bring up two really great points.
One, that they're best friends with Donald Trump. I guess his wingman, Jeffrey Epstein, these people were close to him. And Donald Trump seems hell-bent on protecting anybody in that circle, even people he previously fucking hated.
I mean, in both cases, I think it's obvious that those actions are being taken on behalf of whatever criminal organizations or happenings are being exposed for.
Nope. No. You don't get to fucking pull the Illuminati ripcord, fuckhead. It doesn't work that way. You either call out Trump or you don't. He surrounds himself with Epstein's co-conspirators in his cabinet on purpose. He picked as his AG initially Matt Gaetz, who was gunning to be the next Epstein with Joel Greenberg and was driven out of fucking Congress and couldn't be made AG because of that specific reason. And then he puts in Pam Bondi, the only person who could have tore up the non-prosecution agreement that Epstein's co-conspirators magically fucking got, after he hired the guy who wrote it to be his labor secretary. This is, you want to talk about getting enraged. You lazy motherfuckers.
Example, in those email dumps that Seth Rich probably leaked.
Probably.
Because it wasn't just Pizzagate stuff. It was also all sorts of Benghazi stuff, all sorts of Hillary Clinton stuff, all sorts of other really serious stuff that also was never asked of the.
She spent 11 hours. 11 hours being asked questions. Donald Trump will not sit for 5 minutes under oath for this shit.
Appropriate parties. But I mean, when you start talking about who's still walking free that we should be asking questions of,
Donald Trump,
and we're looking at the Epstein,
Howard Lutnick, Elon Musk
investigation, that list immediately grows to like 100 miles long. And
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's not 100 miles long. It's not everywhere and ubiquitous. No, it isn't. Nope. It's not all over Hollywood because 3 fucking people. It's not all over tech because 3 fucking people. It isn't. When you say it's 100 miles long, that's a way of avoiding the people who are obviously on the list.
got in one.
This is disinfo. This is Ian Carroll is directly engaged in disinfo. That's what that phrase means. When you say something like the list is like, there's like thousands of people. Like it just goes on. Everybody's involved. No, they're fucking not. And I'm not going to believe, like, I don't want to hear a single fucking argument about randos that you think are on there or probably or should be or whatever the fuck when you know specific people, but you like what they're doing, so you look the other way.
One of the,
I guess Massie's not on there. Rokana's not on there. Joe Biden's not on there. Jill Biden's not on there. Fucking Hunter Biden isn't even on there, you asshole. Obama's not on there. Michelle's not on there. Macron's not on there. Fucking Mendelssohn's on there, but Keir Starmer isn't. He's in trouble for hiring the fucking guy. The whole royal family's been, having to like deal with fucking Andrew this whole fucking time. They wouldn't have to deal with Andrew if the rest of them were on the list. It isn't 100 names long. It isn't 100 miles long. But that's an excuse for not stating the obvious of who is.
One of the document drops that happened a couple weeks ago, and then we re-corroborated it multiple times since then. We got a list of 10 co-conspirators that they have had for years from one of their old investigations that just never happened because they were, Kash Patel's been telling us there are no co-conspirators. There is no organization. It was just him alone. But we've got a document saying that they had 10 co-conspirators, one of whom was Leslie Wexner. They're named, and that the list is long.
He's named.
Like there's pilots, we know their names. Larry Visosky. There's 3 different pilots. There's a bunch of other madams like Ghislaine Maxwell, but assistants that were helping to recruit girls. There's a bunch of other people that were trafficking models and bringing models in and out. There's just this long. There's an enormously long list.
It's not enormously long. It's a big list. But you'll notice he brings up pilots, Leslie Groff and Heller and some of the other women that were involved. But he can't bring himself to, well, we'll see. Maybe he brings up Lutnick. Maybe he brings up Trump. What do you think the chances are?
Of people in various roles all around Epstein that we know full well were at the very least deeply suspiciously involved, where they should be asked some very serious questions. I mean, right up to Ehud Barak, who by my accounting looks like the handler of Epstein. He certainly looks
right, because it leads back to Israel and that's part of your shit. I get it. And fuck Ehud Barak, I agree. But it's interesting that you go to him when Donald Trump is hanging out with him way more than that.
Like we have all these emails from both Ehud Barak's email server now and from Jeffrey Epstein's trove of documents.
It's almost like they selectively release stuff
that corroborate them doing what looks like intelligence operations all around the world and in the United States.
What looks like, for example,
there's just an endless number of people that, like you were saying earlier, that we could at least investigate because it's in the.
There's not an endless number. There's not an endless number. You will not go through every of the 9 billion human beings on this fucking planet. But you will get to a lot of this motherfucker's friends. That's the problem.
Name, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And they keep on giving us this line as though like, well, we've got emails, but it's not illegal to party with Jeffrey Epstein. And it's like, we're not asking you.
That was Todd Blanche.
To read the emails. We're asking you to investigate all of the myriad suspicious things that are documented here in these files and emails. And instead of getting investigation, we're getting what looks like cover up denial, distraction, anything.
I don't know. I think the Biden administration's DOJ put Ghislaine Maxwell in jail for 20 fucking years, and it was Donald Trump that moved her to Club fucking Fed, and is talking about pardoning her. I mean, I guess the biggest out is fucking just, it's everybody. Fucking everybody's in there. Well, then Tucker's in there.
But investigation. And it kind of makes you wonder why.
Well, it definitely makes you wonder why. And part of it is the political dynamic, which, poisons everything. And Trump is obviously sensitive to like partisan traps after the Russian nonsense.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's sensitive. Fuck you. He's sensitive to partisan traps. What? I'm sorry. Democrats baited him into saying that Epstein's a lot of fun to be with. Baited him into letting the guy be a guest at his club all the fucking time. Inviting him to New Year's at the White House. That's a partisan trap. And also, if you're innocent, full disclosure is the app. I mean, sunlight being the greatest disinfectant. And of course, laughter being the best medicine. So after you disinfect, I will mock the shit out of you.
Which was a lie. Russiagate was a lie. By the way,
no, it was not.
Russiagate was constructed, in my view, in part.
In your view, and also based on your handlers in Russia. I'm sorry, but anybody who goes over and gargles Putin's balls so egregiously, so that to the point where Putin, I think, complained of chafing from your molars after the fucking fluff job he did in Russia. I don't know why anybody, I think you should take seriously what he says in terms of whatever he says about Russia, understand the opposite is definitely true.
To cover up the origin of the DNC emails in 2016 and the John Podesta Gmail dump in 2016. Neither of...
What about the RNC hack? Happened at the same time, but those were never released. Could it possibly be the reason why everybody's on a short leash? The problem with blackmail is that once you burn it, it's done. And it better work.
Which was done by Russia. Clearly, there's a lot more there. We're not allowed to ask questions about Seth Rich. I don't know why.
Who says you can't ask questions about Seth Rich? Who's going to arrest you? Who's going to get you shut down? I mean, obviously, it's torturous to his fucking parents.
Seth Rich's parents don't own that story. I feel so sorry for them, of course, but
I'm going to mock the entire circumstance of his death.
American citizen, and if someone is murdered on the street in Washington, we all have an interest in asking, what was that? That's not an attack on his memory.
Yeah, again, this is the just asking questions bullshit. Nobody gets in trouble for asking questions. It's when you assert something, obviously, this is what happened, that it gets into murky territory, especially when it comes to the relatives of dead people.
It's a demand for justice in the name of every single American, not just his family. They don't get to shut it down, sorry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like all of this gets to the foundation of our system, which is justice. Is every citizen treated the same under the law or not?
Of course not, or Donald Trump wouldn't be president right now because he would have been doing time.
And if not, then we need to fix that. So
I agree. So everybody needs to vote in the midterms and make sure that there's an impeachable margin of Democrats in the House and Senate. Anything short of that is traitorous.
And I know that Trump is really worried this is a trap laid for him.
Why would he think it's a trap?
I'm sure it is.
You're sure it's a trap? How would it be a trap? How's a trap work? If I have no interest in the bait, if I don't need the bait, if I don't need to take the bait and hide it someplace or consume it myself and excrete it somehow so that no one else ever finds it, how is it a trap? How is it a trap? It's only a trap if there's a there. And it's amazing to me that these guys are like, obviously Seth Rich was killed by Hillary Clinton's people to cover for the blah, 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 even though the shit ultimately got out, so it didn't work. And Pompeo was going to kill Julian Assange, even though he never did. And he would have had the ability to, clearly, but it didn't happen. But never mind that shit. and apparently, according to Benny Johnson, Hillary fucking killed Epstein in jail, not Trump, who was literally in charge of the government when it happened.
But let's set that aside.
No, let's not set it aside, you fucking lazy bitch.
And ask about the rest of us and whether our country can continue on the same basis that, we assumed we were living under, which is, again, one of equal justice under the law. So
why would you think that when Donald Trump is currently in power? I mean, that is the single biggest reason why people think that there is not equal justice under the law. He didn't pay taxes. His father helped him bail out his fucking casino with $15 million in chips. That's in the Epstein files as well. Fucking a helicopter crash killed one of his accounting dudes on the way back from Atlantic City on a trip Trump decided not to go on at the last minute because Jesus is obviously looking out for him.
Can you just go through some of the questions? And I think both of us are trying to be really responsible and fact-based here. Clearly there's nonsense in this document dump. Don't want to get trapped by it. Don't want to fall for it. Okay. But on the basis of things that we can say with some certainty are true or seem to be true, what are the questions that you, having gone through this for several days now, think that we should be asking?
How about this? What are the things you found out materially in the files? What stands out to you as a potential smoking gun? For example, Howard Lutnick goes on television, lies to fucking Miranda Devine and says, I will never be in the room with that disgusting man ever again. Not for philanthropy, not socially, not for business. And then he's in all of it, including parking his fucking rented yacht that he came over from St. Thomas, as everybody who went to the Epstein Island did, with his wife, who apparently was in on this conversation. That to me is evidence writ large. That is obvious.
Following up on.
Well, there's
Let me see if, we know Ehud Barak was in there, and Ehud Barak, and also he does have a Jewy last name.
questions for a lot of different people, and some of them are more serious and some of them are maybe less serious. One of the biggest ones in many ways is, how did we let Bill Gates be in charge of the medical decisions of our entire nation?
We didn't.
When apparently he was trying to slip antibiotics to his wife secretly because he transferred sexually transmitted disease.
Well, there's a great example of a distraction and misinformation. The email that he is referencing was one that Epstein wrote to himself as if it was written by somebody else as potential blackmail for Gates. It's not forgiving Gates or pushing it out there, but the details that are in it didn't come from Bill Gates himself. They are alleged to have been things that Epstein said that he might, or presented as a reason that might blackmail Gates into giving him $40 million, which he didn't do, insofar as we know. He gave $2 million to a charity or a foundation at MIT associated with him or something along those lines that he ran, so he got to run off with some of that. But he didn't give him $40 million or finish his investment in something else. That in and of itself is obfuscation. That is intentional misinformation from Ian Carroll. You don't even have to defend Bill Gates. Here's the other thing. Why would you even bring up fucking Bill Gates without bringing up the fact that Trump just had him in the White House with all the other AI tech guys when Bill Gates doesn't know fuck about AI? He doesn't know shit about any of it. He's too old and out of the game. He's retired from Microsoft. The fuck is he doing there? Sitting next to Melania in the fucking pole position.
Diseases from hookers on Jeffrey Epstein's islands to her. That is insane. And when you look back at the absolutely just the crime against humanity that COVID was, and you realize who Bill Gates is and who he's exposed to be in these emails.
So, sorry, the rest of the countries that had lockdowns or were waiting for a vaccine or took precautions, they were all under Bill Gates's fucking spell? What, you guys just moved on because your attacks on Fauci were such a fucking dud?
That's atrocious. But that's less of a question we need to ask
but
and more of a person we need to just forget about forever. right?
Well,
right, because you don't have to look any deeper than the kind of bullshit blather that you're doing. And you can also, if you stop talking about it, we just need to never talk about that guy again. Why? Because he's a friend of Trump's now. That's why.
First of all, I just bless you for saying that, and you put it so well.
No, he didn't. But I guess from a disinfo artist's point of view, that's what that'd be.
This is the guy who is making health decisions for the entire world, and
no, he's not. He's not making health decisions for the entire world. What the fuck is this? All right. Tucker thinks this because Tucker thinks that white people should stop trying to save Africans from malaria. We're helping their population growth by not letting them just die from malaria. That's the grudge that Tucker has against Bill Gates. Period.
Apparently, from these emails, he's trying to slip a drug into his...
Nope, not apparently, according to Epstein. And if you're taking him as an actual source, if you're saying what Epstein writes is true, then what he's saying about Trump is that he's a sociopath with no redeeming qualities and the single most evil person that he's ever met.
His wife's drink because he infected her with a venereal disease from a Russian hooker. So, yeah, I mean, that's just just amazing. Thank you for saying that. It's amazing.
Thank you for carrying that piece of propaganda and never going anywhere Nutlick or fucking Trump, except to protect him from the trap. Oh dear, the trap. Get the oh my fucking God. These cretins. I mean, I guess that's how you do it, right? This is that you just blitz the airwaves with cover stories for Trump. Right? You just create a situation where you poo-poo anything about Trump and you blow up anything about anybody else, and you make them pivotal, even though Trump hung out with them way more. Can we just watch something that I can enjoy, though, for me? Because I'm so fucking pissed off at that grotesqueness. By the way, I would gladly debate Tucker or Ian Carroll about any of this shit. No notes. Totally free ball it. I have no problem with doing that. Guess who's had a bad fucking 2 months? Peanut Butter Dickhead and all of his Doge to the Moon Bitcoin pals have all lost bazillions lately in this crypto crash. 2 trillion lost in crypto. Bitcoin and XRP wobble as crypto crash fears grow. Boo fuckity who.
Bitcoin. Rob, where's Bitcoin at right now? Bitcoin crashes to around 60,000 as historic free fall worsens. 68,000 is back up a little bit. Prices down over 50% over 4 months. This week, yesterday, equities, nearly $600 billion lost in equities because of AI.
That's also a totally different related thing. That's jobs being lost and expansion that was supposed to happen, and SaaS, software as a service, being hit by the fact that now AI will do a lot of stuff that apps were made for. So there's a lot of app collapse out there.
I think crypto this week lost $600 billion, $2 trillion since the high in October.
Yeah, it's almost like you can track the collapse of an industry by when the Trumps get involved.
Tom, what's going on over here?
So what has happened is, remember crypto, well, guess what? It's going to be a hedge against inflation. It's going to be an alternative to fiat. It's going to go this way when the markets go that way. And now here we have the big test. We've got layoffs. We've got gold. We've got the U.S. dollar weakening.
Gee, Trump sounds awesome.
We've got a K-shaped economy where the consumer is increasingly under stress. Credit card debt at the highest of all time, almost $1.3 trillion right now.
So you're saying I shouldn't believe Trump when he says it's the best ever?
Whereas Wall Street with PE, especially in tech, has been doing okay. And so we're all waiting for the shoe to drop. The shoe to drop is the market and some economic things and some layoffs and everything. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin goes with it. Bitcoin was supposed to be different.
Yes, it's not part of the real economy. It's part of the human trafficking and drug and gun running business, and a way for Russian and Chinese oligarchs and other people to hide their money from their own governments and sneak them out to buy real estate in the United States. Gee, it sounds different. Little, yellow, different.
And so right now we're trying to figure out, Pat, remember when everybody said, just don't worry about it. Get a little bit of Bitcoin. It's an inflation hedge. It's an
Who said that?
Inflation hedge. That was one of the core selling points.
By who? By the guys that went to fucking jail?
Well, now when things go sideways, wait a minute. This is 2 years of increases have gone down. This morning it said, if I'm correct, October 2024, it was 66. It's gone on a run, so it's returned and it's given back 2 years of gains.
Go to 5-year max, Rob. Go to 5-year if you could.
Yeah, try to make it green. Please make it green. Oh, that's by Jared Moskowitz is sitting right there. He was on the show when this happened.
Okay.
Wearing, by the way, Marty McFly's shoes, I think.
And then go to max.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. You see where it is there? Now go back over 2024. That's right. All of that, a little more. October 2024. Up.
The other way, stupid.
2024.
He means here.
There you go. There we are.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's almost a
so
here.
That everything since October 24 is gone. And so all this, it's like we're finding out, will the real Bitcoin please stand up? Are you an inflation hedge that's going to be stable over time? Are you alternative to fiat? Are you just another speculation stock?
Yes, it's just another speculation stock. You fucking moron.
That is going to react to the market, react to gold, react to inflation. And right now it looks like it's reacting to that. Now, there's a lot of Bitcoin people who are going to say, this is temporary, Tom. No, you don't know what you're talking
about. It is temporary till it goes up again because of FOMO and the greater fool theory, and then it'll crash again. And each time it goes up, it will gut these fuckers' pocketbooks over and over and over again. And I'm for it. I think everybody who watches Peanut Butter Dickheads podcast should invest in Bitcoin right now. Buy the dip, guys.
But
early, before it dips more.
Rather than being stable and do the things that they said it's going to do, that all the proponents were together and saying, you know, it's difficult. It's like, okay.
It's difficult. It is. It's really difficult. I'm having a really hard time. This is supposed to be cool. This is supposed to be like the cool guy cash. And now it's like, fuck, whatever.
The people who put their trust in it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Are stupid.
Yes. In the last week, have you bought any crypto?
No.
You haven't bought any? Okay, so you haven't taken advantage of the discount that's going on right now?
Before the sun sets today, I'm going to.
Okay, got it. So
on orders from Peanut Butter Dickhead?
I just bought a bunch of XRP and Bitcoin yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a bunch when it dropped to whatever the number was in the 80s, high 70s, 80s.
He's a buy and hold guy, by the way. He's just looking for a peak to get the fuck out.
And to me, the part about dollar cost averaging is it's so easy to teach, but it's so hard to execute.
Yeah, you're.
Well, then I guess it's not easy to teach, then, is it? Because execution, the ability to execute, is the result of learning. Or perhaps no one can teach you how to juggle turds without getting shit on your hands.
Emotions to betray you on dark
It's so hard
days.
to execute.
Mm-hmm.
We can get in front of a board and teach our 13-year-old son, let me tell you how dollar cost averaging works. If you invest $100 and the stock is $10, you get 10 shares. It goes to 15, you get 6 shares. But if it drops to 5 and you're scared and you buy it, you get 20 shares. And the average between the three becomes $13. And so now...
Yeah, stock isn't Bitcoin, fuckhead. Stock is in companies that make shit and do things. Currency exchange is not the same as stock, stupid. And that's the point that your resident geek was just fucking making. That it's just an investment. It's just another stock hedge. And it isn't. It's not a thing. It's fucking you're investing in video game tokens.
But then when it happens to you, you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm on a dollar cost average. Boom, you missed it. It went back to 92. You could have bought it at 62. You could have bought it at 65. So here's a part about...
What they say, the
Or
scared man becomes a day trader.
Yes, it does. And by the way, what I'm, I say this, the long-term.
Well, this asshole needs the price to go back up so he can get out. So he's going to puff this shit no matter how he did. He's going to I'm fucking long on this stuff. I think it's going to be a win. I'm buying the dip. It's fucking magic. This is how people like Kramer get in trouble. But since it's not a stock, he can say all this shit and get away with it. He can manipulate the market, get his own people or act amongst other people to get them to buy more of it so it drives the price back up so he can get the fuck out. Leave them holding the bag.
Thinkers win.
And I'm fine with that, by the way. Anybody who would listen to this asshole deserves to lose their fucking nest egg.
And short-term thinkers get destroyed. Long-term thinkers are able to go through the emotional difficulties of investment. Something goes up, something goes down.
It's not an investment. It's a currency, fuckhead. And if you can't use it, it's not a real currency.
On long-term, everything ends up working out for the long-term thinker. But this is really...
No, it doesn't. If you think you have tuberculosis and you don't do anything about it, you can think all you fucking want, but you're going to die with lungs full of snot, stupid.
Scaring the crap of a lot of people. This...
Well, you know what also scares the crap out of people? Cliffs. Standing at a cliff with your hands behind your back and leaning forward. It's very scary. You know why? Because you could fucking fall, and if you do, you're dead. It's a real fear. They're not afraid of the cliff, the edge, the height. They're afraid of fucking gravity because that's real, and you can't fight it once it takes you.
This is scaring.
I'm fucking spicy today with these assholes. This is annoying.
The crap out of a lot of people. Jared, where are you with this?
Well, I mean, look, I think, the American people on a whole, right, are not invested in Bitcoin and in crypto. To your point, this was supposed to be detached from everything else. It was supposed to be the hedge. That's what we constantly heard. But there's a lot of establishment investment now in here. There's a lot of regular big Wall Street that came into there. I still don't understand the Michael Saylor thing. I mean, I follow, micro strategies.
700,000-800,000 now.
Okay, and I don't understand, how that whole thing works. But so far, I mean, his stock, I think, is higher than Bitcoin. And he owns Bitcoin. So I don't understand how the company could, the value the company.
Because they make money on the exchange. They make money when it goes up. They make money when it goes down. And if people are afraid and they're selling it, you're making a fee.
Company's doing better than Bitcoin is doing when the thing you own is being devalued. And so you talk to a lot of people who talk about these downward trends that happen in Bitcoin, that there's a cycle that happens. They talk about these cycles. And so far it's following the cycle, but it did go lower than the 60,000 threshold. They said if it hits 60,000, that should be the end of the cycle. Now it's up again.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Let's see now if it...
There's a whole different school of thought that they say it could hit as low as 26,000 to match the drops it's had over the years.
And it'd still be a good buy, according to Peanut Butter Dickhead.
And then from 26, it's going to go to 250, 500. It's kind of what they're talking about.
By the way, this Saylor guy they're talking about has like $5 billion in unrealized losses in Bitcoin and has leveraged his Bitcoin. He owns like 714,000 Bitcoin. He's leveraged his Bitcoin against a bunch of other loans in real money. And if it ever... if he's ever called on this, it's going to fuck everybody around him. That's what he's talking about.
The margin calls that are going to happen
No
at
question.
26,000.
And by the way, one of the reasons why he has this never sell, always buy thing is because he's trying to drive the price up for himself. It's the same thing that Peanut Butter Dickhead is doing.
Right.
Oh, my Lord.
You're right. Yeah, that's, by the way, have you ever had a margin call?
I don't have enough money to do that.
Yeah, I had a margin call. But I was 25 years old when I got a margin call, when I had no money. And I put, I don't know what it was, $5,000, whatever, to buy some Nike stocks. And then I said, E-Trade came out and they said, you can use this to get XYZ and $15,000. And I'm like, no way.
Really?
Vinny, I did it. Let me tell you, when it dropped, I don't know, it was a handful of stocks I own. They're calling you, you're saying, hey, you have, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to pay this? You act like you...
And this is the same guy telling you you need to buy more Bitcoin, Vinny. He just talked you into buying some more last night, didn't he? Look at the look on his face. Huh? They can do that? Yeah. They can do that, Vinny.
You have 15,000, but you only have 5,000.
Wow.
So it's allowing you to use credit, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Because you're doubling and tripling without your money. It's like you're using credit card money margin call. But when you ever seen the movie Margin Call?
Yeah, of course.
Have you seen the movie?
You ever seen Trading Places?
Oh yeah,
with the
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey's in it
At the very end, my dog died.
What a movie.
Great movie.
By the way, that anxiety in that movie, that's how it feels.
Oh, man.
And this, he's right. If it's 26,000, it's going to be some interesting people.
You're already seeing some, there's already margin calling happening. And so what's happening is other people are having to liquidate other assets, right, so that they have capital to pay the margin.
Yep.
So if this does continue to tank.
Yeah, they're selling real property to buy more useless Bitcoin as the. Honest to God, I don't have any popcorn, but I have chips.
It's going to bring down other stocks with it as people liquidate out of those.
Well, if you actually are a long-term investor, this is a good day for you because you can go buy some stuff. I've learned over the years that what goes up must come down.
Yeah. But the idea is you want to buy when it's down, sell when it's up. If whatever you're trading in is based on what the Chinese call fang pi, fart air, butt air, there's no guarantee it's going to go up. The only reason it would go up is because there's somebody dumber than you that will take your sucker bet.
So you know who knows what's going on in the market tomorrow? Absolutely nobody.
All right, fuck you. A bunch of people know exactly, looking at the company's earnings, they know exactly what businesses are making money and losing money, and they can track it over a period of time, 6 months to a year. The people who are buying and selling based on dividends that they get will be like riding the earnings calls all the fucking time. But these are the people who are giant institutional investors, and they're not going to dump a big chunk of shit anyways. Bitcoin isn't anything like that. What's it worth? Whatever we hope it is. That's not an investment strategy, dipshit.
If Michael Saylor doesn't know what's going on with Bitcoin, believe me, your Uber driver has no clue.
Right, and that should terrify you, that the guy who owns the most Bitcoin and the guy who is driving your Lyft, they both have equal information about an investment you're going to make? No wonder you motherfuckers voted for Trump.
The guy that's like, bro, I just invested in
There is
XRP.
somebody that knows what's going on in the market. Her
Who's
name
that?
is Nancy Pelosi.
Maybe
she sold PayPal. She sold. Wait a minute. Did you not see the story?
What'd she do now?
Did you see the story? Nancy
sold Nervous
Pelosi
Nancy?
sold PayPal way before PayPal was going down. Wow. She knew
How
something.
would she know that?
Can you tell? Am I reading the story incorrectly?
No.
Why do I feel like I
Does she have
read
an
the
8-ball?
story?
2 weeks. 2 weeks
Yeah,
before
she
it
sold.
announces.
Zoom in a little bit, Rob. My eyes. Yes.
Did she get the fundamentals? Is she in town? Does her husband actually work with the people? And they're like, I don't like the way PayPal's going. There are 2 other things on the market. It's starting to thin out. We should get out.
Based on financial disclosure, Nancy Pelosi reported a sale of PayPal holdings took place December 30th. Pelosi sold 5,000 shares of PayPal. The transaction valued $250,000 to $500,000. The sale occurred just before a sharp decline of 27% by selling in late December. The transaction allowed the Pelosi's household to avoid a potential loss of over $90,000.
She has.
That only matters if she only had 5,000 shares. And she got the fuck out and then bought back in when it went down, I guess. Because what if she has 40,000 shares of PayPal? Did she sell all of her stuff? Hold on. All right, they got this from ChatGPT. You can tell like how the information is arranged. Let's see. Nancy Pelosi sold PayPal stock. We're going to see the exact same thing. Yep. Based on federal financial disclosures filed in January 2026, her husband sold 5,000 on December 30th, 2025. The value, the sale was valued at between $250,000 and $500,000. The shares were sold on December 30th, 2025, when the stock was trading between roughly $59.60 a share. After the share in early February, PayPal's shares plummeted approximately 20%, 27% following weak earnings, a reduced profit outlook, and a CEO change, meaning the sale allowed the Pelosi's to avoid potential loss of nearly $100,000. The sale was reported as part of a larger routine periodic transaction report submitted in January, which also included major sales of Apple, Nvidia, and Disney, along with new purchases of long-dated call options in tech companies. The trade was generated attention due to its timing as it executed, sold PayPal for $27. Is that all she has? Uncanny PayPal timing saves her from losing $90,000, which is fucking dick. If they'd have sold it the day the guy got fired, they would have lost maybe 15%. They would have lost $90,000, but they would have kept somewhere between $250,000 and $500,000. Is like the idea that she made $2 million because of insider trading or something is $90,000. I would expect if you're going to endanger your, Nancy Pelosi. This is their same shit. This is his clip of him. Quipper quantitative. Yahoo. Is one of the most closely watched members of Congress because of stock options. Pelosi's PayPal stock sale. Latest stock disclosure showed the exercising of several options and the sale of some previously owned stocks. Transactions which can be tracked on Benzinga's government things. Her husband did. Her husband sold 5,000 shares of PayPal at the end of 2025. And then a month later, shit hit the fan. It's not 2 weeks. December 30th to February is not 2 weeks. PayPal's stock traded on December 30th based on high prices. Since then, the fintech company has seen its shares drop, with losses deepening steeply. Comes after reporting quarterly results announcing a new CAO. The stock tumbled 20% on Tuesday. Had she held on to the things, they would be worth $201,000, which means Pelosi dodged a potential loss of $96,000 or 32% by selling in December. She sold with a bunch of other shit. All right, not enough. I'm going to need more than that. Like, that just sounds like her husband pays attention. If they're about to fire their fucking CEO, and that's what leads to the drop, and they're paying attention to companies they have hundreds of thousands of dollars in. Who else? Here's the other thing. Who else sold a bunch in the end of December because they were getting cold feet about how the company was running? Or they were looking at other competitors that were coming on? Lazy.
This is the 8 ball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So unless if your name is not Nancy Pelosi and you don't have access to autopilot, where autopilot allows you to match the exact investments that Nancy Pelosi had. I don't know if you've heard of autopilot.
I've seen it on. You can follow it. Yeah.
And by the way,
Tom's a millionaire now.
Autopilot. He kind of
made money.
Autopilot runs ads on Tom. Okay, I don't know if you've seen this or not. They did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So Adam.
Yeah, and Tom didn't invest. Is making more money listening to Nancy Pelosi than listening to you. He would lose everything he gained, I guess, depending on how much he's trading, following whatever she trades. Auto trades on your behalf, which means you're investing in the companies that she thinks are also going to make it, which is interesting. And if she's alone in this, and they're also in Silicon Valley, so they're going to be around these people. And if somebody shows up drunk at a fucking party and the accountant for PayPal is at one of these things just like, I don't feel good, then you're probably going to sell your shit, right? That's the social networking aspect. It's why everybody lives in New York. That's why all the traders live in New York by and large. It's because if they see somebody, the head of one of these companies, thanks for gifting the memberships. If you see one of the heads of these companies fucking around someplace, you're like, this guy's doing a lot of blow. I think we should get out.
To correct you, please give credit
so
to
other
Nancy
than God
Pelosi,
and
don't
Nancy
disrespect.
Pelosi, nobody knows what's going to happen in the
Yeah.
market. Here's what I tell people, Pat. I think we're on the same page with long-term thinking. If you want safe and security.
All right, this is just lazy. No, stocks and Bitcoin are not the same fucking thing. This is so lame.
Think of it like a theme park. You want to be safe? Go on the merry-go-round, buddy. You want investing? You want risk and reward? Go on the roller coaster. No, the only time you're going to die.
The roller coaster, hey, asshole. On a roller coaster, it feels thrilling, but you end up in the exact same spot that you entered. That's the best thing that happens to you. You end up right back where you were. The worst thing that happens is it careens off and kills you. This isn't about excitement, you fucking cokehead.
If if you go on the roller coaster, you try to jump off the ride in the middle of the ride. So I bought Bitcoin, I think at 20 many years ago. People are telling me, oh, dude, it's going to go to 100. Then I bought it at 40 again. I'm just looking at it on sale right now. I asked, Adrian and all my friends are in the Bitcoin space. 6 months ago, I go, you see this all-time high? I go, what's the lowest we're ever going to see again? 80,000, bro. I swear. I go, 80,000, maybe 78. I text him today, buddy, we're at 60. You don't know nothing. Like, I make, we bust each other's balls. Yo, you're an idiot. All my Bitcoin friends, you don't know anything. Oh, it's the Bitcoin halving. You have to understand there's only 21 million. Dude, you don't know anything. Nobody knows anything.
Right, because it's not a fucking thing. You're just looking for a bigger idiot. You're just looking for somebody dumber than you to buy it at a higher price. Enough for you to get out. That's what it's for. You don't use it to buy and sell anything. And if you do, it's because you're in human beings, drugs, or guns.
If you're a long-term thinker, long-term...
organs, I guess. Not complete human beings. You can also, I guess, buy fucking kidneys with it. Or pay ransom. You could be a kidnapper.
Investor or a hodler, what are they called? Hold on for dear life versus a long-term holder. That this is a great thing for you. Dollar cost average and buy. If you're scared, if you're these people like the XRP, how many people did you talk to who are like, yeah, I don't know any crypto, I don't know any assets, but I'm an XRP guy. Do you even know what they do? Do you have that video of what our friend Max did, Pat? Tell me if you saw this video yet regarding XRP and all the people who are Ripple people. I don't know if... There you go, Rob.
This is exciting. XRP, super exciting. Is that the other crypto exchange? XRP, there you go. Whoops. Yeah, this is the Coinbase thing. This is the guys who trade on, this is what he's talking about. This is like 1% or whatever gain on something.
What are you talking about, Adam?
I really wish Rob had this pulled up. I sent it to him about 10 minutes ago, but
Where?
Rob, it's in a text, but thanks, buddy. You thumbed it up and everything.
Rob, don't let him talk to you like that, Rob.
Yeah, seriously, Rob.
telling you right
Don't
now,
thumb it up, Rob.
You know what?
Can I tee this up? Here are XRP holders and Ripple holders right now.
My f***ing money, motherfucker! Where's my f***ing money?
Because all these people invested in XRP because they thought that they were going to get rich. And what's the famous saying? Buy the rumors, sell the news. When your Uber driver is giving you advice on XRP, get out ASAP.
You keep bringing up the Uber driver.
Yeah. I take a lot of Ubers, that's why.
Well, do you talk to them about finance?
No, they barely speak English, but that's my point. Is that they barely speak English and they recommend...
Sorry, most of the people who invest in Bitcoin barely speak English. You barely speak English, you asshole. Also, maybe Nancy Pelosi's just talking to her Uber driver because she's not xenophobic.
Ripple.
But by the way, if you look at Bitcoin, right, talking about the long-term investor, okay, if you didn't take any money off the table, you're back where you started if you got in the last year, right? So, when Trump got elected, that's when the huge run-up happened. It happened. It started happening in 24, not in 25. He gets elected, the huge run-up happens. So if you owned it at 60,000, 65,000, if you bought it right before the election and you didn't take any money off the table, you're right back where you started.
Yeah, like the roller coaster analogy I just made. You're welcome.
So, this idea that, I'm in it for the long haul, well, if it's a roller coaster, then you got to take money out before the drop happens if that's going to be a consistent thing with it.
Yeah. And it seems to be that there is a pattern with it. It doesn't react like everybody thought it was going to
Yeah, because everybody like him who owns a bunch of it start bullshitting it back up after it falls, and they buy the dip so that they can make up their margin. They can that dollar leveraged idea is that like, oh fuck, I'm losing money if I get rid of this that I have, but if I buy it low and it goes up a little bit, I can sell that and save myself some cash.
React to the way that gold reacts. They don't react the same way. And this year was a confusing thing
because you can hold gold in your fucking hands, dummy.
Because gold went up. What is the price of gold right now, Rob? If we look it up.
5,000?
If you
do we need to text it to you, Rob?
Yeah.
He'll probably
49.83.
Zing.
By the way, Rob,
Set that at 9 o'clock.
Rob, can you do me a favor, Rob? Pull up your
It's down I think $100 from the high.
Connect QR code. Do you have it?
Oh fuck you.
Or no?
I do not.
Okay. Guys, pull up your Monecto. Pull up your Monect.
No, I'm not going to go to Monect. The single dumbest app name ever. Monect. It's like something somebody says after a bad football hit. You okay there, Tompkins? Monect.
So people see your handle. Folks, if you don't appreciate Rob G getting bullied by Adam the way that he is, can you go send him a Monect right now? Rob, put the link below in the chat.
Rob,
please.
that's a
God, Jesus Christ. Just go back to selling sweaters, you fucking moron.
Exactly how we feel.
By the way,
that's
that's a good photo of him.
By the way, if we removed the name and said that photo was in a file that we looked at, it's called just saying.
It's called fits the profile.
Like Rob, like if I was literally looking for a babysitter and I was going through,
Don't let him do this
I
to
would.
you, Rob.
I'm fine.
If you're watching this and you want to insure yourself, do yourself a favor and go buy the shirt allegedly.
Get the fuck out of here. Go buy the shirt. Oh, my God. So he's selling pro Epstein merch now.
Because when you're going through moments like this,
where you backed a guy who's all over the Epstein files.
Never has there been a more important time.
Oh, is Patrick Bet-David in the actual Epstein files? Have we bothered to look?
To walk around making sure everybody knows you lean on the word allegedly.
Yeah. What the fuck? You lean on it. Imagine that. I mean, that's the defining word for MAGA now. Congratulations, maggots. You played yourself.
Because that's the biggest insurance policy you can have nowadays, as long as you use the word allegedly. So if you want to protect yourself, go to vtmerch.com.
Oh, my God.
Get yourself an allegedly shirt or a hat. Walk around at work with your family, with your friends, and just say, allegedly, this is what I heard. You will be protected, just like many others do, wearing the allegedly gear. And it is one of the greatest conversation starters, no matter.
No, it isn't. It sounds like you're a fucking pedophile. It sounds like you're on bail. It sounds like you're partying while you're out on bail. What nice shirt. Allegedly what? Well, you know, people are saying a lot of shit about me, so I'm just reminding them.
Where you're at, people look at you, they smile, and it goes into
I'm curious,
a conversation.
in a court of law,
Yeah.
in a court of law, Jared, you would know this. If you're wearing that shirt and you're talking just out of your butt and you're saying crazy stuff, in court, you'd be
Allegedly,
like, hey,
I heard.
I didn't say
No, that would be hearsay.
it out loud,
Allegedly.
with the shirt.
Nobody says fucking hearsay in court, shithead. It's like, you don't have to... If you're a witness and you're just blathering about shit, allegedly, from that point of view, you're not a witness. You have no business on the stand.
Just saying it.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to.
I did not enjoy this video. I thought it was a waste of fucking time. But I do enjoy the fact that you guys are throwing each other in front of the bus. And congrats to Jared Moskowitz for getting a couple of dunks in on these dummies. Whew. Ugh. Okay. Jesus Christ. Time just fucking flies. All right. One more thing. Two more things, maybe. One more thing. So this is Trump going to Palm Beach. Gaggle.
Security systems.
Oops, sorry. That's sometimes I play and it plays it. There's Nutlick. He's not far behind. Going with him down to Florida to help. You know, I guess they're both going to go out driving tonight in golf carts with a couple of shovels.
We had very, very good talks today, having to do with Russia, Ukraine.
No, you didn't.
Something could be happening.
Oh, wait, this is the 9th? He's done one of these before. Sorry, I'm jumping backwards. I don't need to watch anything with this asshole that's 2 days old because it's useless. But we will watch a flashback. Can we watch a quick flashback? Because I love the title of this video. This next one I'm about to show you. You're watching House Sparks Megaworldwiide, by the way. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Venmoing me is a great way to help, especially since lately I've had to take a lot of time off from work because of stuff going on in the world, in my personal world. And so appreciate all the help I can get in that regard, because obviously I don't get any ad dollars on this channel because of my big boy words. But check this out. Epstein's New York mansion. This is Alex Jones. Flashback. Alex Jones visits Jeffrey Epstein's New York sex dungeon. I wouldn't use the word visit. Right? Okay.
He's been having a lot of trouble in the bedroom, and after a drop of this, it reignited that spark that we've been missing for years.
Okay, that's
This is what 92 hair washes can do in 6 months. Not 10 washes, not 30 washes.
If you watch 92 times a day. All right. Oh, fuck off with this. Skip ahead.
InfoWars, the most banned network in the world.
Not even close to true. I mean, all of YouTube is banned in China.
Yep. East 71st Street, in the middle of Manhattan, New York, USA, and that
one cab ride, like a 5-minute cab ride to Donald Trump's house.
Is St. James Church. We're at a very important site here. This is a place I began to expose more than 15 years ago from sources I had.
What were you exposing? Cheesesteaks?
Who were telling me that there were powerful individuals that were running underage sex rings to compromise not just politicians, but corporate leaders, particularly scientific leaders.
Compromise or just, I mean, why would it work? That's my question. Again, this goes to the bait question. If Tucker Carlson believes that they are baiting Trump with the Epstein files, why would you be baited in that circumstance? Why can you not speak freely about it? Why could you be invited to one of these things, see what's going on, and go, fuck this, I'm out?
And they had an island in the Caribbean where underage girls and others were taken, where they did rituals, and where children were even killed. Well, as you know, in the last 3 or 4 years, it's come out that Jeffrey Epstein was running that network. But Jeffrey Epstein...
Are you wearing a ski boot? Or have you been booted by a traffic cop?
Was just a pimp. Jeffrey Epstein was just a frontman. And when he died, the networks that he was the
died. That's adorable.
Frontman for, that he was like the butler for, have continued on.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz and Joel Greenberg were attempting to kind of jumpstart their own little, mini project version of it.
With the British royal family and others using...
Others? Who would that be? Who? What, sir? Who would that? All right.
These systems to compromise the leadership of not just the United States, but the world. And so Bill Gates and so many other titans of industry,
former titans, I think,
have stayed in the address I'm about to show you.
Oh, okay, like Elon Musk, for example?
For months and months.
Oh, and Dershowitz?
And months at a time. They've also stayed at facilities in Paris,
Well, some of them didn't have to. Some of them had a house just down the block. They could just come visit and do the shit and leave, like Trump and Dershowitz. Allegedly. Thanks, PDB.
In London, facilities in New Mexico, like Zorro Ranch. They have spent massive amounts of time inside buildings like this 7-story facility that just recently sold, we're told.
Facility?
For $25 million. It's Jeffrey.
Well, that's cheap. I guess it was depreciated. It was worth 70-something.
Epstein's former headquarters in New York City. And we're here producing a special report.
To stand outside the door. You know what you should do is, while you're there, is knock on his neighbor's door and see if Howard Lutnick can give you a tour.
For freeworldnews.tv and infowars.com, that's going to be out in the next few weeks. And the question is, what is the center of the web? Is it the Bilderberg Group?
Or is it simply Trump and a bunch of skeevy fuckers who like this kind of awful?
Is it the Club of Rome? Is it
the Illuminati? Is it aliens? Or is it a guy who lives less than 9 minutes away, even in traffic?
Organizations like Bohemian Grove. Well, Skull and Bones is corrupt and evil and set up a very...
Wow. Enjoy this, folks. You don't get this kind of investigative journalism. We're going to look at a door.
Vicious people. So are all these organizations, but what is the center of that web? So here we are, just a prelude for viewers of freeworldnews.tv at the famous keypad that so many pimps brought underage girls to bring them inside that 7...
Pimps? I think he was the pimp, wasn't he?
...story building so that sex crimes could be committed so that they could be compromised.
You're not going to pee on your cameraman, are you?
And it's the network that still controls Epstein today.
So So the goal here is to get the least flattering angle of Alex Jones ever. Well done. Well done. I really do think you're overworking, though. I don't think it requires this much effort.
That we are here to expose. But Bill Gates, who took control of all the major world health departments of the planet, Bill Gates.
No, he didn't.
Gates, who is trying to force inoculations on us to bring in a world dictatorship.
And is failing miserably. I think it's probably his, I'm shocked that he hasn't been able to because he's amazingly charming.
A world economy, a world social credit score, a world ID. Bill Gates.
By himself?
Was, evidence shows, in charge of Jeffrey Epstein. That's why.
Wait, sorry. Bill Gates was in charge of Jeffrey Epstein? It looks like from the dump we got that Epstein was in charge of Bill Gates' dick.
Jeffrey Epstein had to die, but there were people above Bill Gates. So we're here in New York City.
If there's people above Bill Gates, then they control Bill Gates. So why are we even blaming Bill Gates? If there's a one world government that's forcing Bill Gates to do these things, then he's an innocent victim. Free Bill Gates.
To investigate the roots of how the corruption.
And by investigate the roots, he means look at the door.
And how the blackmail operates and to expose.
You maybe knock on the door, see if there's anybody there. I don't know. I doubt it, but I mean, it's a possibility. Maybe people from the Epstein cleaning crew are there. Or...
But it is those doors that Prince Andrew was famously photographed staring out as young women came in and out. It's those.
Amazing.
Those doors that famously Bill Gates was caught going into and having parties. It's those doors.
I don't know that he was caught going into the doors. I think there are pictures of him just inside the fucking place. There wasn't like paparazzi outside the doors. I mean, there should have been. Fuck you, TMZ and Page 6.
That the system didn't want us to know about because they wanted to use that blackmail.
They did? Who's they?
That control to control the people that control our lives.
Oh, thank you very much. Brian, thanks so much. Oh my God.
And remember, many of the people that came to be compromised here and to engage in sex crimes did it as a gang initiation. You've all heard of Crips and Bloods.
I've heard of Crips and Bloods. I think I saw it in a movie in the 90s with Ethan Hawke or something.
They got to either kill another member of the other gang or like shoot some innocent person that works at a liquor store.
Yeah, they have this thing against people who work at liquor stores.
Heard about the Mexican mafia? You've heard of the Italian mafia, the hillbilly?
Yeah.
At least all of them have to.
I have heard about the hillbillies. I heard something about the hillbillies. I don't remember what I heard about the hillbillies, but I heard something.
At a crime, be part of the club. But in prison.
Sorry, you got to kill somebody to be a hillbilly? This must be a specific group of hillbillies. Is this an ironic name for a bunch of guys who went to Yale?
Listen, you get killed if you're a pedophile. Nobody puts up with that going after children. This is the ultimate cult because to get in their cult, you've got to abuse children. And that's what this facility is about. That's why Bacchus, the Roman god of debauchery and evil, is above the door. And up on the top, there's images of little naked children dancing. Ladies and gentlemen, is that why Jeffrey Epstein picked this facility for his world?
Picked the facility? He was given the fucking thing by, was it Les Wexner? Gave him the fucking place for $1.
Worldwide headquarters of evil.
The worldwide. Here I am outside the worldwide headquarters of evil. Because if I go stand in front of Trump Tower, they'll run me off.
And did he name that little island he bought in the Caribbean Little St. James after
Rick James? Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
The church, St. James.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
That's just down the block. This is part of our ongoing investigation that only you, by supporting us,
yeah, that's not going to happen. Sorry.
Have allowed us to continue on. And thanks to you, we have the courage and the...
to torment the Sandy Hook parents and send people like you who are watching this video to go piss on the graves of toddlers who were shot to death and torment the parents who lost children, calling them crisis actors. Only you.
Funding and the result.
By the way, talk about the headquarters of fucking evil.
To never stop. So the controllers of Jeffrey Epstein, you may have killed him, but you've not killed the secret of what he was doing, and you will be exposed.
You can't even get in the door, dumb fuck. Gee whiz, you mean we're gonna see secrets that are visible from the street? What an asshole. They replayed that from something that he did a while back. Like, that's fucking journalism. There we go. Okay, now, this is the story that it's over. Smoking gun document proves the U.S. government killed Epstein. Now, if you'll recall, Hillary Clinton was not in the U.S. government. She had a chance to be in 2016, but a bunch of namby-pambies thought lady can't do things right and voted for this orange fuckwad over here. I mean, I guess we should both... I'll take Hillary in jail if it means Trump is in there with her. I mean, I'm telling you that Trump would be Hillary's bitch. I'm going to call it. Also, why is Hillary's hand caught in the noose? Is she being hung by Trump as well? It looks like it. Also, why is she holding a rope down here? Is she yanking her own arm? Is this a stretching maneuver? All right. Anyways, smoking gun document. This is I think the thing that where there was a notice about his death the day before he died.
What's up, guys? Spenny. If there's one thing that the Jeffrey Epstein files documents dumped by the DOJ has proven is that
Trump was his fucking best friend.
You have been systematically and methodically lied to by your federal government.
Sorry, by the federal government? Not the people in charge of the federal government. Now, during Biden, it was Biden. Sometimes it was Harris. Sometimes it was the people around Biden that were doing it. It wasn't the whole government. It was very personal. Now that Trump's in, it's the government.
For the better part of the last 2 decades, everything was a lie. All of it.
Oh yeah, including the part where Trump kicked him out for being a creep and that they stopped being friends.
Including, but not limited to, Jeffrey Epstein's death. And now we know that with 100% certitude because of the document on your screen.
Fabulous. What's the date on the document? Who was president during that? August 9th, 2019.
The official narrative goes like this.
Donald Trump's best friend went to jail and then magically died in jail or was spirited away by Russian operatives with the help of Donald Trump. Or, according to Benny Johnson, while Donald Trump was president, Hillary Clinton managed a hit inside a federal detention facility and Trump has no idea.
On the morning of August 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive in his jail cell at approximately
allegedly. Thanks, PDP.
6:30 a.m. He was found in a slump on the floor after.
Was it an official slump or was this just did the coroner actually note slump on his paperwork or?
Hanging himself. They tried to resuscitate him in his cell.
Allegedly.
Then they medevaced him to the hospital where he was.
Why would you medevac a corpse? Why would you medevac a corpse? Anybody? I don't know. I'm sure a Democrat was in charge.
Pronounced dead.
After the medevac?
That is the official narrative. It's been written into congressional testimony, documents sworn to by the Attorney General himself, Bill Barr, at the time.
Wait, who hired Bill
And that
Barr?
is exactly the narrative that you find right here in this document.
Mm-hmm.
And of all of the documents that prove dark criminality and a greater overall conspiracy around Jeffrey Epstein.
You mean like the 302s that where people were calling in, giving tips on Donald Trump raping 14-year-old girls? Like that?
Have been released by the DOJ.
Mm-hmm.
This document is the single most damning. Let me explain why. Listen to this. From the U.S. Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey F. Berman. This was the same district that was prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein for sex trafficking at the time. Statement from the Manhattan attorney on the death of the defendant. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman says, earlier this morning, a Manhattan Correctional Center confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein, who faced charges brought by this office engaging in sex trafficking of minors, has been found unresponsive in his cell and pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Today's events are disturbing, and we're deeply aware of their potential to present yet another hurdle to giving Epstein and his many victims their day in court. To those brave young women's blah, 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 we stand by you. Conspiracy counts remain ongoing. Okay. What's wrong with the statement? There's nothing wrong with the statement. It's, it just parrots the official narrative. Has all the right watermarks. It has all the right names and numbers. Has the seal of the Department of Justice. Oh, wait a second. Look at this. It's dated Friday, August 9th.
Mm-hmm.
It's dated the day before Jeffrey Epstein died.
Interesting. So Donald Trump was president when a notice went out of the death of a federal prisoner that he had a personal relationship with for over a decade and lied about repeatedly, who engaged in sex trafficking of minors for rich and powerful men. A notice went out about that person's death while in custody under Trump the day before he died. And this means the government is lying to you, not Donald Trump's DOJ was engaged in a cover-up that they had planned. I mean, real quick, do you think he'd be saying the government if this happened while Biden was in office? Do you think he'd be saying the government if this happened while Obama was in office or if Hillary had won one of the elections? You think?
Killed himself. And it explains the precise manner upon which he killed himself. It explains that Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell and was pronounced dead shortly thereafter.
Right. Which, again, why would you medevac a dead person? Med-evac, as in evacuate. Why wouldn't you just call the meat wagon? I've seen Night Shift.
But it's the day before.
Oh my God. It's either a grand conspiracy or they got the date wrong. Or they filled out a file from the day before and they didn't change that to update it. Or it doesn't automatically update. Or Donald Trump helped Jeffrey Epstein escape and they had planned it all along and this was part of the plan.
Jeffrey Epstein was allegedly alive
when Donald Trump was president.
There's no coming back from this.
That's what they said.
They did it.
Who's they?
They killed him in his cell.
Who's they?
We're going to get into some of the responses for this, but this now opens up, of course, the entire universe of, is Jeffrey Epstein actually dead?
No.
How high does this go?
To Donald Trump.
How orchestrated and planned was this?
Well, I gotta say, it's very difficult for me to believe that you could arrange something like this without the help of the president and the DOJ.
Did they truly
at least to promise to look away?
Swap out his body, as has been suspected. We obviously know these are AIs.
No, you don't. No. You can put an AI watermark on something that's a real photograph. It's a great way to muddy the waters, right? Not saying that's what happened, but it wouldn't take any. I mean, shit, I could put a little Gemini watermark right here on the video and make pretend that anything I say is something an avatar said. How would you ever know? Because I'm charming. That's why.
But these theories gain insane amounts of traction because nobody actually believes that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, including, but not limited to, the Inspector General and the FBI, who show that the official narrative is also a lie. Let's add up all of this evidence together, shall we?
Shall we? Let's. And let's also remember who was in charge at the time.
This broke on Friday. A flash of orange looks to be going up the L tier stairs. Could possibly be an inmate escorted into that tier.
This didn't just come out. What are you, fucking Glenn Beck? This came out last year.
Also, the Inspector General finding the same thing, a flash of orange going up the stairs. What does this mean? This means that Jeffrey Epstein was not alone. This means that the official story was a lie. The official story is that nobody entered or exited the tier that Jeffrey Epstein was held.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, this creep?
But there's video evidence proving that is false. Someone was going in there.
Weird. And Trump just can't be bothered.
Who entered Epstein's cell the night of his death? Newly released video logs prove.
Newly released? What are you talking about?
That the official narrative is a lie. You can see it on the tape. Jeffrey Epstein, of course, had an
That's a lot of laundry. Maybe he hung himself because he was given laundry detail. It's a fairly stinky ward.
Insane amount of linens in his cell. Nobody knows.
Linens. Oh, fancy.
Why? There's no
obviously to cover the blood.
Explanation for this.
Maybe he was hiding under there when they took the other guy out.
And obviously, Jeffrey Epstein's gamer profile has been active. Fortnite says that this is a hoax. Okay, fine.
Yeah, but it also could be that it like somebody just took the name after because it had been retired and it was available.
But what's not a hoax is that on 4chan, the night of Jeffrey Epstein's death, One of the prison lieutenants said, no. His body was swapped out. Jeffrey Epstein was taken from his cell.
That's right, because you don't medevac a dead person and you don't bag a corpse. But if you got a guy laying there who's alive, you would want to bag him so that it explains why his chest is going up and down. You can only hold your breath for so long, and if they're moving the thing, it's having trouble getting him out the door because there's people around and that kind of stuff. You bag him like that, and that hides the fact that his chest moves so people don't go, hey, the dead guy's breathing.
We now know.
Where are you guys going? We're from hospital. We take him to get special treatments. He's suffering from neck hangage.
That this same branch, the Southern District of New York, immediately began investigating this prison guard to unmask who he was.
Why would they do that if they helped plan it by releasing a statement the day before he died? Unless that came directly from the DOJ under Bill Barr, and they sent it a day early.
And he was a legitimate guard at the prison. Nobody knows what happened to him. Statement announcing Jeffrey.
I'm sure he's got a lovely villa on a beach somewhere.
Epstein's death emergence in the files, but it's dated a day before he killed himself.
Dun! Sorry, I should have fucking hell. Where is it? Or Mike? Yeah, Mike. Fucking. Come here, you. There it is. I have to keep this nearby. All right.
How can this be?
I don't know. Except that Donald Trump was in charge and you have his phone number. Ask him.
How did Jeffrey Epstein die on the 10th, but there's a press release about his death on the 9th?
Son of a bitch. I gotta have that ready.
It gets deeper and deeper.
That's what Milo said.
A written announcement of Jeffrey Epstein's death, typed one day before his actual death. But it describes exactly how his death occurred. Occurred.
The DOJ knew Epstein was going to die, and it was run by a guy whose dad gave him his first job at an all-girls school? Weird.
In the official narrative, DOJ knew Jeffrey Epstein was going to die. The Epstein files, he was found dead. But that happened on August 10th. A lot of conspiracy theorists are probably feeling pretty vindicated about these files now. You can find this, of course, in the Wayback Machine. Press release remains on the Internet Archives. The archived version lists a press release whereby the August 9th press release, Jeffrey Epstein Library. Here's the numbers. Here's all the dates. Here's all the data. They drafted this a day before he died.
Who's they? Who would have that kind of power? Obviously, the Clintons.
Are they?
Maybe you know who knows people in New York? Giuliani.
This bad at this?
Yes, Trump is terrible at this shit.
Jeffrey Epstein.
But they figure you dipshits are just going to go along with anything, so why try that hard?
Had not yet killed himself. How the F was Epstein pronounced dead before he died?
I don't know. Ask that guy. And the guy who hired him.
Remember, it was Bill Barr who swore to all of this. Bill Barr, whose father hired Jeffrey Epstein at the Dalton School.
Who hired Bill Barr? Huh? Asshole. Who hired him?
Bill Barr, whose father wrote the book on predatory behavior with children.
No, there's no manual. That would have been a dead giveaway. I don't know why the Dalton School would take the advice of a guy who wrote a book on how to be a pedophile on who to hire. Maybe we need to look into the Dalton School. Something's obviously sketchy there.
Speaking of, I still cannot get over some of the fact that somebody sent Epstein a photo of a 10-year-old and their name is redacted.
Right. I think you owe Thomas Massie and Khanna an apology, asshole.
Age 10. In case you're wondering what this was all about.
Well, there's a picture there too, and it's redacted.
There's not enough time to get into it, but like...
Why not? Where you got to be? You got, I'm sorry, do you have plans? You started this conversation, and you don't have time to finish it? Fuck is wrong with you? Oh, I know, because if you stay talking about this long enough, you'll inevitably come to the fact that Donald Trump hired this motherfucker because of this motherfucker who he was best friends with. And you can't get there. You're not allowed. So you're going to shut down. You're like, this is just crazy, guys. Guys, this is just crazy. It's amazing. It's crazy.
Bill Barr's father, Donald Barr, wrote a book called Space Relations, where a small group of elites are able to control an entire planet based on predator behavior with children.
Space Relations? That's the name of the book? Jesus Christ. Did everybody write shit sci-fi in the 70s? What was the cover like? I'm going to have space relations. Ain't nothing wrong with relations between two young people.
Let's just say that, to be polite. You can still find the book. It's available.
Is it? Okay, hold on. Space Relations. Space Relations. Oh, God. Donald Barr. Oh, God. 1973, right around that time. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Let's say the cover. That's a great classic 70s sci-fi cover. A little airbrushed space relations. Diggity-doo-doo-doo. What the fuck? Where are those things landing? This looks like... I didn't even know they had AI to make book covers and titles in 1973. Space Relations. All right, let's see. Is there a copy of it? Wikipedia, Space Relations. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say about Space Relations. There's the original cover, which wasn't nearly as good, but very 60s writing. It was reprinted in 1975. It's one of two novels he wrote. The other being A Planet in Arms, which is all about, how gropey Trump would get. In the future, humans have formed an intergalactic empire ruled by aristocrats. What do you call yourself? The aristocrats. During a time of war with the Plead, an empire of ant-like alien bug people, Ambassador John Craig. So we don't get cool space names that far in the future? Everybody's just still, hi, I'm John Craig. Oh, I'm Jack James. All right. A formerly liberal Earthman in his 30s is dispatched to the strategically important planet Kozar, a human colony that was settled by the Carlisle Society, aka the Carlisle Group, as a place of exile for political extremists, and is now ruled by an oligarchical high council of 7 nobles, each of whom is in charge of a different domain with its own traditions. Their boredom and absolute power have driven them to madness, to the point Kozar's entry into the empire has been stymied by man-inhabited planets. Trees Clause, written by Craig, against alliances with slave-owning societies due to its practice of kidnapping humans to become illegal playthings of the galaxy's super rich. Craig, who's now campaigning to bring Kozar into the Empire, has previously been to the planet when the passenger ship on which he was traveling on a return trip from the Beetlejuice conference was captured by space pirates. It happened to anybody, While en route to Kozar, one of the pirates awakened Craig and the other prisoners to rape a 15-year-old virginal redheaded female captive in front of them. The rapist's fellow pirates later hear of this and dock his pay as punishment for spoiling her market value. Craig then spent 2 years as a slave of the beautiful, sensual, and sadistic Lady Morgan Sidney. This is just fap work, isn't it? The only female member of the oligarchy. It's Ghislaine Maxwell. Please tell me that was her gamer name on Xbox Live, with whom he became romantically involved. Because who doesn't get a boner when there's, child rape happening everywhere? Together, they lived in her castle, ruling over and engaging in sexual relationships with those under their dominion, including an enslaved teenager at a clinic used to breed enslaved people. When Craig stumbles on hints of an alien invasion, he realizes he must escape to save humanity. Why would you want to save humanity if this is what they're like? Craig is depicted as undisturbed by Lady Morgan's sadism. When he is ordered to sexually assault the enslaved teenager, he enjoys his participation in the act. A coruscatingly literate tale for grown-ups. What an asshole. What? In a flashing, brilliant, or keen manner. It's coruscatingly literate. I think your review is coruscatingly literal. The novel was criticized for porno kitsch, for devoting too much attention to character development rather than world building. Porno kitsch is British geek culture blog that published reviews. Okay, that was the that Porno Kitsch was an actual magazine. Reviews notes that the narrator is split in two between present-day official visiting Craig and the planet Kozar and his past experiences with Lady Morgan. Novel's events are set during a war between intergalactic human empire and sinister bug people who don't rape teenagers. Maybe that's what makes them so awful. The world of Kozar is human, but independent of the empire due to its ruling aristocracy's refusal to abolish the slave trade. So humans have decided to fuck the Kozars, and he's like, I don't know, they're not so bad. Which represents the very foundation of Kozar's class system and economy. The war is used to explain why a backwater world like Kozar became important to the Empire, but the conflict is merely referenced and not actually depicted because he was too busy, writing FAP. The novel also hints at complex politics of both Earth and Kozar and their roots in Machiavellianism, you think? But these politics remain largely unexplored. Sorry, guys. The main theme of the novel is the torrid romance between a slave and his owner, John Craig and Lady Morgan. This allows the author to explore the issues of slavery and domination. The reviewer notes that, however, that neither character experiences growth or change throughout the novel's events. He found both main characters to be fairly obnoxious. While the author repeatedly reminds the readers that slavery is wrong, he tries to depict both Craig and Morgan as wise, talented, and heroic. The reviewer finds it hard to view them as heroes, since their actions are not heroic in nature. Throughout the novel, the main characters freely kill, torture, seduce, and make sweeping political decisions on behalf of thousands of people. Another flaw of the novel is its depiction of Craig as a poet. The prose in the novel is interrupted by the character's poetic compositions, including a number of sonnets. Ugh, barf. The reviewer says this is a failed attempt to add depth to the character and finds these interruptions to be irritating. I'm enjoying the secondhand review. The novel is described in a Vice article as both comically amoral and insufferably pretentious. To be fair, these traits were common in 1970s sci-fi. I agree. Becky Ferreira has described the novel as highly unsettling due to its depiction of rape of enslaved people, particularly teenage girls, and other coercive sex acts. The sex acts described are performed for the dual purpose of entertainment and controlled procreation. Ferreira found disgusting the novel's fixation on the sexualization of adolescents. She notes that the adult characters are subjected to infantilization. The novel's dialogue includes casually unsettling observations. She cites an example of a character remarking that pederasty lacks aesthetic appeal. She views the novel as sexualizing minors and fetishizing rape. Space relations saw increased public attention after Jeffrey Epstein died in jail. Epstein was hired to teach at Dalton. Mr. Barr had announced he was resigning as headmaster in 1974, protesting the meddling by the Board of Trustees, but that he would stay on until the end of the school year. It was unclear whether Mr. Barr hired Epstein during that time. The similarities between violent sexual depictions and space relations and Epstein's sex trafficking activities and obsessions and the crimes of his associate Ghislaine Maxwell have all led increased scrutiny. Right. A slightly gothic interplanetary tale. That's the subtitle. A slightly gothic. It's a marginally shitty piece of space porn that this guy's dad wrote and gave Jeffrey Epstein a job at an all-girls school.
This is all true? Did he teach?
All right, I don't know that pedophiles are seeking out like code on how to operate an Epstein Island kind of thing as an instruction manual hidden in sci-fi. Like this is fucking 3 Days of the Condor. I think birds of a feather typed together sounds like more why this is.
Teach this to Jeffrey Epstein.
Teach it to him? It sounds like they just like the same awful shit.
Well, he did teach Jeffrey Epstein because he hired Jeffrey Epstein.
Or Jeffrey Epstein taught him.
The government admits they faked Jeffrey Epstein's death. Here's an actual document from the files. We'll read it and then we'll read the note on it. Due to the large news media presence outside of the MCC, an official called and said that they would be arriving and loading the dock with a black vehicle in order to thwart the media and use boxes and sheets to create the appearance of a human body put into the white vehicle, allowing the black vehicle to depart unnoticed with Epstein's body. This is real. The note on here.
Yeah, that's the story they told about how they were trying to get past everybody.
It says that it details a decoy, fake human body in a white van to distract the media, allowing Epstein's real body to be transported separately. It does not admit faking his death. But they...
Right, that's the explanation of what I just said that somebody else put.
They are technically using another body for Jeffrey Epstein.
No, they're not. Not in that case. In that case, they said cardboard boxes. You can read, right? I've watched you do it.
It's starting to feel like the reason Kash Patel resisted releasing the Epstein files isn't because there's nothing there, but because he doesn't want us to know that the feds helped fake Epstein's death.
Sorry, the feds? You mean the Trump administration last time? The people who were in charge of the fucking government?
Burn it all down.
That's Mark Mitchell. That's the guy who's doing the Rasmussen reports videos that I've done about how bad Trump's numbers are. That guy's come to Trump's rescue at every fucking turn.
Epstein files reveal that at the direction of the FBI, clear and specific guidance redacting images of U.S. presidents, Secretary of State, and other celebrities from the files. Who would be the Secretary of State? That'd be Hillary Clinton.
No, it wouldn't. You think she's the only Secretary of State we've had during the time that Epstein was active? Are you fucking bananas?
Whoops.
Oh, the whoops thing is when he remarked that Jeffrey Epstein remarked about RFK's wife killing herself.
Here we go. Who is protected under the U.S. Transparency Act task? Presidents, Secretary of State, celebrities. Goodness gracious.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. And I noticed you didn't read the part about none of this would have been released if Khanna hadn't partnered with Thomas Massie. So it's interesting how you avoid that.
So it's pretty clear. I mean, this is Viva. He's on my show all the time.
Yes, you're both stupid.
The draft press release was dated August 9th, announcing the death of Jeffrey Epstein. Before coming to the obvious conclusions, we should entertain the idea that this could be an innocent typo. But of course, Jeffrey, how would it be a typo?
Because they put 9th instead of 10th on the 10th. That's the 10th, not the 9th. The rest of it is true and happened on the 10th. The typo.
When he died on a Saturday, everyone knew it was a Saturday. That statement would have to come after his death.
It wasn't released. It's a draft. The statement didn't come. The statement that you saw did come after he died. That was a draft. You could argue that they changed the draft to put the proper date on it. It's the same statement.
So the final statement differs from the draft in that it also mentions...
Yeah, there's that word draft again. I'm going to beat myself to death smacking my face over this, aren't I?
...an apparent suicide.
This is like watching Bongholio try to fucking read.
The initial draft does not. So what they were doing was creating the narrative in real time here.
The PDF of the document in the Epstein files does not include the metadata as to when it was created. No shit. It would be useful, i.e. critical, to provide and have access to that information before concluding that yet another conspiracy theory has turned out to be a conspiracy reality. Agreed.
Anybody? Like, can anybody defend this?
Yes, I think that's what Viva Fry actually just did. He's trying to steer you away from buying into a conspiracy theory. I don't really care, though. I'm glad you guys are eating each other's assholes about this. But I honest to God, I'm mostly amazed that you still can't bring up the fact of who was president when all this shit went down.
There it is.
Oh my God.
I think this is it. This is your smoking gun. This is our
the smoking gun that Donald Trump helped Epstein fake his death and escape.
Smoking gun. It's all over after this.
Yeah. What is Trump's presidency? I'm good with that. I think. Yes, you're all right. Okay, sure. Yeah. Fuck him. It's interesting that you don't ever mention Trump's name in all of this, even though he was president at the time, and he hired Bill Barr. He also hired Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Howard Lutnick.
There's no, unless there's some type of explanation, this is like the proof. This is the roadmap to they killed Epstein.
Who's they? Who would they be? You keep putting Hillary Clinton in, but she wasn't in power at the time. She lost the election. She was not president. Donald Trump, his fucking running buddy, was.
They had a plan set up in place in order to kill him in prison.
Or he paid the Russians $1.2 billion to get him out, and Trump looked the other way.
Or to disappear him and swap out his body. But the government was in on it. This proves it.
The government. Whose government? Who was in charge of the government at that time? Bend over. Do you guys think, chat room, do you guys think Benny Johnson will ever be able to bring himself to allow the detail that Trump was president when all this shit went down and is president right now and is engaging in all the cover-up had to be forced by an act of Congress to release these files in the first fucking place, and that you're still going to think he was an innocent victim in all this? You think Benny's ever going to come to it? Or is he just going to move on to something else and forget it? I think ultimately he's praying for another ICE shooting or something to go somewhere else. He's going to Biden, Biden, Biden. Right. One more version of that, by the way. Dim Pool also dove into this mess.
After Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, they were saying he wasn't really dead. A lot of people were posting these conspiracy theories that Epstein was actually still alive. And I said, I don't believe it. You know, I mean, maybe it's not like they're saying the moon is made of cheese, but I doubt it. Well, then something interesting emerged in the
I've missed Tim Pool's sort of namby-pambying. You know, his like, I don't know what I believe, but I don't know if I believe it. I think I'm going to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to do it. But this is really important, but it might not be important. It's crucial to his entire business model.
Epstein files. And now something else has emerged. Very interesting. There's a press release announcing Epstein's death the day before he died, which is very strange.
There's a draft of it.
Chalk it up to a typo, perhaps, but still strange. We'd call that circumstantial. Not proof, but interesting. Then, of course, there is the investigation done.
Is Tim putting on weight? Was he denied Ozempic? Is it just me, or is he just puffy from something else? He's looking very round. His head's looking very round.
Where an individual posted on 4chan before anyone had announced Epstein's death, saying that a van came in, they may have swapped him out. People then pointed out that the body on the stretcher you can see doesn't really look like Epstein. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. I actually think there is a possibility Epstein is still alive.
Wow, way to put your flag in that ground. I actually think there's a possibility. Brilliant. That's leadership, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know that I think it's greater than chance.
Then why are you... I mean, I guess it makes a good video.
But certainly it seems like it's entirely possible, especially when...
Seems like it's entirely possible. Jesus Christ, man. How flaccid can an argument be?
You get this story, which has been going massively viral. That is, a statement announcing Jeffrey Epstein's death has emerged from the Epstein files, dated a day before he killed himself.
This is him citing the Daily Mail, by the way.
Everybody's hitting me up being like, it's proof. And I'm like, it could be a typo. To be fair, still strange. Well, let's read the announcement. See what's all
right. We've he's digging into the same shit. I have so much stuff though. Hold on. Let's do the fight song. There's a...
I may only have one man.
I don't know what the fuck this is. This is, the White House put this up. This is called Our Fight Song.
I may only have one match.
But I can make an explosion.
This is our fight song. Hey, take back my life song.
Oh my God, he's taking a Katy Perry tune? But like an AI cover of it? Yeah, they AI'd a cover of a fight song by Katy Perry, which Stephanie Miller uses, and rightly so. Jesus Christ. God damn. I can't wait till he falls down the stairs to put it to this music. Good Lord. Yikes. I've still got a lot of fight left in me. I don't buy it. I got to tell you, I think that sounds defensive. That's like saying I failed, I've taken a bunch of cognitive physicals. I had a cognitive physical. It sounds like that. Like I'm not dying of dementia like they say I am. I'm excited. Here's some video of me looking really spry. I'll end on this. We don't even have to look at it. This is a Pat Gray video from the Blase, and this is the thumbnail. Racism or honest mistake? This could explain almost like all Trump voters after he's gone. This is the question to ask all your Trump voting friends after he's no longer in office and he's shuffled off this mortal coil and they feel comfortable really talking about it. Racism or an honest mistake? Yeah. And again, this is like, media calls Trump racist again, but we watch the Super Bowl ads. I guess to avoid looking at the video that Trump posted. Is that the idea? I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys so much. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. I will see you tomorrow. I will be starting about a half hour early tomorrow, just so you know, because I have to leave a half hour early because of stuff. But don't worry. Everybody's all good. Just taking it bit by bit.
Yeah. If they ask, I forgot it.
I feel like, you know what? I want to play my other song that I made if it's in here. Do I still have Suno up in this other one? Where is it? Guess not. Yeah, she is. Okay. Come here, you silly. I feel like I didn't download this song, so it's still on the site. Let's see. No, here we go. Library, my stuff. There we go. Here it is. Oh, I gotta start over. Hold on. Back up. There we go. All right.
Judge in a tux, jury in pearls.
Hit that like, share the
I
show.
bet my lashes
I'll see you tomorrow.
like good little girls. You
don't
ask
forget,
where I was.
Patreon.com/HowardLutnick.
Well, isn't that swift?
Venmo,
I powder my nose and I
Super
plead
chats.
the
Thank you
fifth.
so
I plead
much.
the fifth. Oh,
Much
honey,
appreciated.
button my lip. Zip, zip, zip. Hey, if talk is cheap, I won't spend a cent on some nosy little government. I plead the fifth. Oh, baby, watch me drift. Sip my gin and plead the fifth. You want the truth, how quaint, how sweet. Slide me a question, I slide my seat. Did I see him? Was it a grift? I fix my glove and I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Oh, honey, button my lip. Zip, zip, zip. Woo! If talk is trouble, I won't buy a bit. On your high and mighty outfit, I plead the fifth. Oh, baby, watch me drift. Blow a kiss and plead the fifth. Cross your heart, I cross my legs. You bang your gavel, I clink my eggs. Sunny side up, my story's a myth. Ask me again and I'll plead the fifth. Ooh yeah, I plead the fifth. Oh honey, button my lip. Zip, zip, zip. Ooh. Secret sparkle, I'm dressed to the nines.